Yes, welcome on goal! We've got two of the worst left wingers Scotland's ever seen.
What was that about, big man? Left wing.
Have you recovered?
Nah, took a year off my career, man. Absolutely killed me.
Mate, that was a graveyard shift on it. I felt for you watching that.
It was hard, and obviously he was bombing forward constantly, and he was just in my ear saying, "You're not going to keep up with me. You're not going to keep up with me."
I love that for him, Rooney. Saying that to you.
After
Was
60
he
minutes, I was
saying
like, "You're right."
Was he saying that to you?
Yeah. He was right though. To be fair, it was a hard shift, man. But no, we had a good battle out.
Lads, I
Mate,
can't
there's nothing
believe
worse than a centre mid getting flung out left mid and getting told to run up and down.
Especially when your legs are going up. The
know.
last thing you want to be is out there, man.
perfect.
getting
When did he
dragged
tell
out
you were going to play it there?
The Thursday, I think it was, or the Friday.
What did you feel? What's he
Just
said?
wanted to play the cup final, so just like whatever we could do to
Great
kind of
answer.
win the game, but obviously it didn't go to plan.
Here,
Oh, what is it, mate?
you two played against each other.
No, I don't think we did. I got my
thought it
wires
was
crossed.
just
I
me.
think he'd moved up to the championship.
You stitched me there with that, ain't you? Told me he played together.
Oh, not only two left wingers, but also two boxers.
Aye.
What was what were you, a boxing promoter?
Promoter, yeah. So I did
How did that come about?
Because my pals, a lot of them are boxers down in England, and it's so hard for them to get on shows. Like they were struggling to do anything, so I put a bit of money into like putting a show on for them. And to be fair, made quite a bit of money from it, so it wasn't too bad. So
Any boxers would know?
Luke Clay was the biggest one. He fought.
Craig Beattie.
Craig Beattie,
Big boxer. No, he's a big boxer.
Was he?
Beattie's a boxer, aye.
No, fucking.
No, he's there.
Yeah,
Aye.
decent.
Aye, it was no bad.
Beats
wasn't
can't hit the bag,
he? No,
mate.
Beats can actually.
Yeah.
Aye, but you're sexy. Yeah. What's the boy Nicky Devlin? Do you like him?
Yeah, good guy.
Good player.
Good guy. Yeah, good player.
Scotland level.
Maybe. He's doing well.
No, he's doing
well.
very well,
Yeah,
of course.
he's
No,
doing well
so
for
that
us.
was
It's just
aye.
it's difficult, isn't it, when you step up to that next level? Like
Yeah.
them boys are class, man. But,
I just want to know a wee bit more about the boxing. So who was the guy?
Luther Clay, his name was. So he fought for like the British title on like an Eddie Howe show probably about 2 or 3 months ago. So he was decent. He was the main one.
Right. Would you go to that after football?
Nah, it's dodgy as fuck, man.
Is it?
Oh, mate, so dodgy. The amount of threats I had from like other people. Yeah.
Did you ever come across Eddie Howe?
Yeah. So they were the chairman at Leyton Orient when I was there the first time.
sure they were.
So Barry and Eddie Hearn. So we used to go to all the boxing shows and stuff, like through them. So
Right.
came across them a few times.
So did you box, man?
No.
Do you think you could do it?
Nah, I couldn't get hit back, man.
Nah.
It's all right me giving it the big one on the side on the football pitch and the referee's there, but someone's punching you back in the face, mate. Not for me,
You
pal.
can't touch the money maker.
Not
Sorry,
for
this
me,
man,
mate.
he stepped into the media, isn't he?
Oh, he's flying, mate.
You're absolutely flying.
He's
The
flying, man.
nation love him.
I
Hey, big man, you're
Sporting should get rid of Stephen Thompson and let him host.
Yeah,
Aye.
get Tomo off, man.
What's he doing?
There's only so many times you can make a cunt out with Tom. How many times you want to do it, man?
He's got a shirt sponsor now though, so he's buzzing. He gets free clothes.
Does he for who?
Yeah, I can't remember what
Marlon?
they're called.
Right, he's obsessed with your manager as well. The one question he always asks is, does his fart stink? David says
Martindale.
Martindale looks like he's...
I've never smelt one to be fair. Nah.
We get told, don't he? He tells boys to come in and just sniff his seat. I don't know if that's true or not.
How good that Martindale's the man, isn't he?
He's what you see is what you get with him. To be fair, he's like straight down the line with you.
Hey,
Good
unsure.
honesty. Huh?
Oh, you're unsure,
Unsure.
man.
That's what I was.
Why?
I think having to react well, I don't think that screaming and stuff. But listen, we're not here about me, we're here about you. You know what I mean? I don't want me to take care again, but Simon, on
But
you.
Marv's for a generation where he doesn't mind that, innit?
Yeah,
Like, so
yeah.
see when the other day everyone had a pure outrage because he says you were rubbish in one game, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't mind stuff like that, eh?
Yeah, nah. Listen, you get on with it, And then he told me he was gonna do it. To be fair, before, and I spoke to him after. I wasn't actually rubbish. That was a disappointing thing. I actually did all right.
Did you do all right?
Yeah. It was 3 games in 6 days, man. 34. He thinks he's got the 24-year-old Marvin Bartley, but
Mate,
obviously couldn't have
I'd
afforded
love to
him.
see that physique, would you?
Desperate to see it.
Nah, there's not a lot going on underneath
That's
it.
right. Right, the career, mate. You Franks at Reading.
Yeah.
What was it? Was Brendan Rodgers in that time?
Yeah. So he managed me for a couple of games.
Right.
So I went into that about the age of 11, maybe to 14. But I had no interest in football when I was younger. I used to pick the ball up and run away from my brothers. I've got 2 older brothers, and they used to like beat the crap out of me, like chase.
Where was that,
after me.
Marv? London?
Reading.
Red, is that where you from?
Yeah, I'm from Reading, yeah. So I had no interest. At the age of 10, started playing a little bit. Age of 11, I was in an academy. And to be honest, it was probably the worst 3 years of my life in football. Because it was just too structured.
Yeah.
I'd gone from having a kick around with my mates and that, playing Sunday league, having banter with my friends at school, to suddenly I'm in an academy playing against like Chelsea, Arsenal, Millwall, who were massive, geezers with beards and that at the age of 12, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? And I was tiny, so it wasn't for me, man. I hated it.
So you were just wanting to kick about, and Brendan's wanting like 4-box-2.
Yeah, and he's like saying, press, do this, do that. And I'm playing centre half as well. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to be a striker.
The enjoyment comes out of it, doesn't it? The enjoyment, it comes right out of it.
Yeah. It was, honestly, the stress from playing academy football was not for me.
When did you leave Reading?
Under 14s.
And went conference, was that right? No?
No, so I went to like just normal Sunday league.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was Sunday league. I was playing Sunday league and like non-league up until the age of 20 then. So about 2 months before I signed professional, I was playing Sunday league and my mates like paying like £4 to play. So, you know, that,
up until 20?
Yeah, up until 20, yeah. That was a life for me, just before I went to Bournemouth, like literally the season before.
Were you grafting as well, working?
Yeah. So I was doing so many different sports director I worked at, but I had enough of that, man. People
Mate, you were a sports director at 19?
Sports director.
Sports director.
Yeah. Sports director.
Never see a fucking director.
At 19, people used to come in.
You worked sports director?
Yeah, come and throw their stuff on the floor and that. Honestly, the stress from working there was mental. Did double glazing, conservatories and that as well.
He's getting a flat soon, can you do that?
No, I'm done with that. That was a long time ago. Stuff's changed now, I can't do it anymore.
See when you were in the conference, did you enjoy the nightlife and all that?
Yeah.
Did
I used to go out a fair bit.
Parties all the time.
And Reading's shite for a night out though, because I was
decent,
Swindon,
man.
do you think?
Yeah, better than Swindon.
Nah, Swindon is terrible. Mate, London's like 40 minutes down the road to you.
Yeah, but it's too much trouble in London. There's too many people, wanting to give it the big, and that's not for me. Just stay in Reading where I was comfortable and half decent night.
See, non-league, the boys play at hungover and that.
Do they what?
Play hungover and...
Yeah. To be fair, I did that a couple of times. I'm not proud to say that.
Did you?
But yeah, went out Fridays a couple of times, probably around like the age of 18. I did that a few times.
Do you ever do that?
No, never. I didn't drink, Simon. But I'm just thinking, see when you were in that, did you think that you were going to have a career, a long-term career in football?
No. Do you know what changed it for me? I must have been 17 or 18. I remember I looked at my bank account, mate, and I had about 30p in my account.
That's horrible, innit?
And I was like, fuck, I need to do something here. Like, I can't keep doing this, like living month to month. And by the way, it was about the 14th of the month as well, so I had a long time to go, man. Knocking on my mum's door asking for some cash and that, and I was like, nah, you need to do something about it. And I think that was when the kind of hit the switch and said, listen, give this a go.
So what did you change? Just everything, your lifestyle?
Everything, mate, everything. I was a pretender, if I was around you, we play football together, I'd be like, yeah, I'm doing this and that. Away from football, I was doing nothing. I was working on like sites, doing a double glazing and stuff, and eating pies all the time when the food van would come around, like fizzy Lucasades. Wasn't doing enough, I was a pretender, to put it nicely.
But mate, there was a manager that even told him he wasn't good enough to play even non-league level.
Yeah.
No way.
So I got to be
Who's the guy naming shame? I'm like, who is he?
Kevin Hill's the
what
guy who told me that. So he pulled me and my two brothers all playing together at the same team. So it was like brilliant. And then, to be fair, I know why I got released. The game before I got released, like the assistant manager used to play. So we conceded the goal in like the 94th minute. Guy comes in the back post, heads it in. So we go in the changing room. The gaffer's like, whose man's that? And the assistant manager, Roger.
He's not pulled you out.
No, it's Roger's man.
Right.
So Roger's saying nothing. So I'm sitting there at the age of like 18 or whatever, 19, and I'm like, is he going to say something here? And Roger's not saying anything. The manager's going mental. So he's like, whose man is it? Come on, own up. I was like, it was Roger's man. And everything goes silent. Like Roger's looking at me, the manager's looking at me. I'm thinking, I'm fucked. But my brothers are there. My brother's a big guy, so I knew I wasn't going to get hurt. And then Roger was like, what do you say, you cheeky? I was like, it was your man. So the gaffers left it at that. Obviously trained Tuesday, Thursday, went to play the following Saturday. He's like, Marv, can I have a word? With me and my eldest brother, he had a word with both of us. He's like, Marv, you're not good enough to play at this level. I'm gonna get rid of you. So,
because you digged it, Roger?
Yeah, basically I dug Roger out, mate. Roger was terrible, man. No pace, nothing. Yeah, I fought for so many goals. I had enough of Roger, mate.
Where did you think then? But like, your mindset getting into that then when he used to do that?
That was hard because although I knew it was about that, like I was getting released at that level and I'm trying to, this was below conference, like 2 or 3 leagues below. So I'm like, where do I kind of turn from here? But again, I changed my life then. So I was like, listen, I'm gonna prove this guy wrong and kick on.
I mean, that's a fantastic message to people out there, isn't it? When you get knocked.
That's it, keep going.
Keep going.
Definitely. So what age were you at that time? 20 year old?
No, I was about 18 at that, 18 or 19. But it's one person's opinion. That's what I told myself. In football, even now, people be like, Marvin Bartley, shit. Boys
we usually say that.
Yeah. Honestly, if you went to Reading, some of the boys who play Sunday League would be like, I was better than Marvin when they were younger. They probably were. But the determination I had at that sort of age to make it, obviously, bear the fruit now. So
you got another non-league team?
Yeah, I went to another non-league team, went to Hampton and Richmond. And played there for a season and had the best season of my life. Went professional.
Playing centre mid or still centre half?
Centre mid. Couldn't header. The centre half was all right, but I was big strikers and I had no interest. I used to let them win the ball in the air and just try and win a foot race. Yeah. And if you're faster than me, I was fucked, man. That was it. You're scoring all day. Your man was peeling off me. So I was centre mid at that point. But it was horrible because my old manager, like, I remember he called me one day and he's like, how are you getting on? I thought, he's being all right. I said, yeah, it's not too bad. And he's like, shit league though, isn't it? Because it was a league below, obviously, them as well. Yeah. I was like, what a wanker, man. I thought he was going to say, like, keep it going, whatever else. So.
Well, you said Roger's flying by now.
Yeah, well, Roger, I don't know what Roger's doing now. Roger's still playing now, probably, man.
And then, mate, he was going to sign for the Mad Dog. A legend on the show, Martin Allen.
Is he mad?
Yeah. Like, absolutely mental, man. Like,
he's told us, but I wasn't sure if he was.
So did you meet him, man?
Yeah. So I went and trained at MK Dons. I was there for a week. So Leon Knight was there as well at the time.
Oh, how was he? He came to Swindon for a bit as well, mate. Funny boy, isn't he?
Yeah, but we used to be warming up and he wouldn't warm up. So I'm not warming up. He just kicked the ball in the goal. And we were all running around doing like the fast feet and that, and he's kicking the ball in the goal, and then he was joining training after. Like, his attitude was terrible, man. But a really nice guy. Yeah. Really nice guy. But Martin Allen was brilliant for me. You know, I trained for a week and then I played 2 reserve games. And he said, yeah, I'm going to sign you.
You signed there?
At the end of the season. Nah, so what happened was I went to Zante in the summer. So I was going to go on holiday, come back and sign my contract or whatever. And he went to Leicester
so he did.
During that time. But I had an agent. Like, I'd never had an agent in my life. One contacted me at the end of that season and basically fucked me over. He was going to get $2,500 from MK Dons if I went there. And when Martin Allen went to Leicester, he's like, no, I want 10 grand for Marvin. And I wasn't signed to this guy. So he was just like recommended to me, working on my behalf, done nothing for me. So it went kind of quiet and I was like, well, what's going on? And he's like, oh no, it might happen, but nothing happened. Came back from Zante and, you know, I was up in the air, up in limbo.
What was Martin Allen like on the training ground?
Oh, just crazy, man. Just shouting and like...
Did he bring his dog?
Yeah. Just bring his dog in, man. His dog was so placid though, man. Just used to like lay on the side of the pitch and that.
Where the boys were training?
Yeah, when the boys were training. Just bring his dog in, but he was crazy. Like, just some of the stuff he used to say, he's like, what are you even on about? And then he would like go back and be like, do you know what, lads, I said the wrong thing there, but doesn't matter. He's just such a great guy. I just want to play for him, yeah. Really good guy, man.
What a hero.
And then for their big man, when did you go? So you never went with...
No, I never went with him. So I didn't know this was all happening. I went to Bournemouth. Bournemouth gave me a call, Kevin Bond.
That was Harry, is that Harry Redknapp's assistant?
Old assistant manager,
He's
yeah.
Old school, man.
Wow, yeah. Old school's not the word, man. So he gave me a call and said, come down for a 6-week trial. I went down for a week and couldn't get a week off work, so I could only do a week. And he's like, right, do the week and then play like 2 games. So I played my first game away to Weymouth on the Tuesday, so worked throughout the day, drove down, got cramp after 20 minutes, like absolutely gone. Like 10 minutes in, I was like, wow, like my legs, my calves were so tight, blew up. Like, had nothing in the... I said to him, listen, I'm done here. 20 minutes? 20 minutes in.
How's that?
But I'd been working all day. So I'd been up at like 5. I'd worked and I'd driven down to Weymouth, which was like 2 hours from Reading. So, do you know what I mean?
What
like,
a horrible feeling.
Couple pies for lunch and that as well. So I just wasn't ready to play. So he's like, right, that's fine. We've got Southampton on the Saturday. Come back for that. So I was like, right, perfect. So during this time, I spoke to someone at Bournemouth and they said, right, make sure you're drinking loads of water and you won't get cramp. So Saturday morning, he didn't explain you need to like build up to it. Saturday morning, I'm down in water on the way down to Bournemouth to play Southampton. I get there and I say to him, mate, like I can feel so much water in my tummy, like every time I move. And he's like, what, when did you drink it? I said, like, just on the way down. He said, how much did you drink? I said, 2 litres like you told me. He's like, nah, you should have been drinking it like throughout the week, building up. So played in that game. I got cramp again, to be fair, but I lasted till half time. But I was like, this is me done. Who's going to sign me now?
I'm releasing you back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Cramp?
Like, I called my brothers and they're like, nah, it's not going to happen for you. He said, just wait around, say thanks for the trial and whatever else. And after the game, Kevin Bond came in and said, here's your contract. I didn't even check it. I just signed it. Didn't know how much money I was on, how long it was, didn't care. Just signed the contract.
What you seen in you?
Fuck knows, mate. They were shorter players, huh? No, they had no players, mate.
That's strange, but see if you're cramping up and stuff,
yeah.
Maybe we'd have...
But were they skint at that time?
Yeah, but he had also said to me, like, I can see there's something there, but obviously your fitness, you're going to have to work on. You're coming from, like, non-league to full-time, blah, 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 blah. So in the end, you'll be fine. But they had no players. Players. So, you know, it's kind of an opportunity for me to go in and show what I could do for a year. But
his brother works for the government, didn't he, Kevin Bond? James.
James. Cracking too. A fantastic too.
Mate, they did have some players though, because I know a couple of the Bournemouth boys that I had. Do you remember Dan Anderton?
Had him in my Spurs tap.
Did you?
Had him in my Spurs tap.
What number? 17?
17. What a player. But he actually, in playing the World Cup as well, 1998. There you go. And was he a fantastic guy?
Yeah, class, man. So rich.
Best player you've ever played with?
So rich?
Yeah.
Would he cash you off?
Nah, he would give us cash, man, like the young
Would he?
boys. Yeah.
Would he?
So rich, mate.
What a
You know,
man.
Like, he would say to like the young boys, obviously had a young team at this point, first one to smash someone, 100 quid. So we're like, I swear to God, mate, kick off. Like I'm running to
Mate, you
press
must have
anyone.
been kicked.
Trying to press anyone, mate, to put them up in the air. Get on the coach, give you 100 quid. Mate.
What? So this is a game on a Saturday?
Yeah, like league games.
League games?
Yeah.
What a
First
man.
one to do it, 100 quid. That was it, mate. Nights out, like we pay for everything. Like, but he was so good. But you were so scared of being on this team because, like you said, he played at World Cups, the Euros, and that. And he's playing with like, fucking me. He's probably thinking, what's this guy doing?
Yeah.
Like my touch was worse then than it is now, so I was fucking terrible. So I'm playing and that, and if you're on this team in training, like the manager called the teams like please don't be on Daz's team, please don't be on. And
How would you cane you if you gave it away? Like?
yeah. Or didn't give him the ball correctly, and like you're nervous as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not only like quite shit at football, I'm nervous as well. So I'm like kicking it up at his knees and that. And it's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying, but he would hammer you, man.
But mate, that stands you in good stead going on in your career.
Exactly. But at the time, you don't think that. You think this guy's bullying me.
Yeah.
But nah, he wasn't, man. He just demanded the high standards. He got the best out of the young boys. He was fantastic.
See now, just quickly, see now, do you think that's went out the game? With young, like, senior players, like with younger players?
There's no respect for young boys.
For young
now.
players, I've
yeah,
noticed.
yeah. There's
Do you
no
hammer young
respect.
boys?
Yeah. I hammer everyone.
Good.
Like, it's just the way I am, but there's no respect. The respect's gone.
Shocking, mate,
So,
innit?
like, you know, boys will argue back. Some boys will play like 2 or 3 games and they're arguing back with boys who played hundreds
Yeah.
of professional games. And you're like, who are you talking to? But it's totally gone. You know, in society now, it's totally gone. They don't care.
Mate, Anderton was part of the dentist chair, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Did he tell you stuff?
Yeah,
Did he tell you stories?
yeah. He's telling us all sorts of stories about the betting back then as well, what they
Was
used to
he?
do. Yeah.
What's that?
Remember, it was before a big tournament. They were on a nightclub in Japan, was it? They
Yeah,
were all
yeah,
doing the
down
dentist chair with guys. You were 96, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anderton was involved in that. He was pictures of him with his top off in a nightclub a week before the tournament.
Did they tell you about that?
Yeah, tell us about all stories like that.
But mate, Bournemouth for a night out.
Yeah.
That's where you want to be.
That's it good, aye?
Yeah, it's
A lot
class.
of good women down there.
There's a
He
few.
looks like
There's a few.
But it was a big thing. The Bournemouth teams used to go out quite a bit, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the party boys. That's what used to get called,
Yeah.
like boy band and all that.
So what was that every Saturday?
Yeah, the boys were rife, man.
And Anderton right in amongst it?
Yeah, Warren Cummings.
Warren Cummings, mate, what a guy.
Yeah, there was. It was bad. To be fair, Anderton wasn't. When he used to go out, but he wasn't one of them that were out every week. That's more like the younger boys, like Alan Connell used to be part of it, get
he
dragged
got
into
zero
it.
birds when he was at Alan Connell.
Was it terrible?
Oh, zero about him.
Chadwick League?
No, quite a
He's a good looking boy. He's got
yeah.
nothing about him. Like in terms of that,
Talk me ladies.
I was gonna be like, what? got nothing about.
But he's married to an absolute cracker now.
Yeah,
so he's got there
Got
now.
a lovely
Aye,
baby
married to
as
a
well.
cracker now.
So he did well in the end.
And then your man
The
comes in.
main man, Eddie Howe. Is he the best going about?
Yeah, for me, the best I've had.
Is he?
Did you know that straight away?
Yeah, because I've gone from Jimmy Quinn, who was,
Honking?
oh mate, Jimmy Quinn just didn't care about football. He used to come, stand on the side, I swear, put on a game. He had a staff. His staff attacked Warren Cummings. Jimmy Quinn, man, that's the best thing he did.
What, a staffy?
Yeah, he had a staffy on the side of the pitch. And you know what was is trying to do tricks with the ball around the staff. So the staff was fine as long as you didn't go towards it. And he's doing that, trying to do kick-ups. So the staff start getting excited and that. And we're like, what are you doing? Like, we're training. At this point, I swear to you, we're playing possession and Woz is in the corner with the dog trying to do tricks. Jimmy Quinn doesn't care, just standing there. Next thing, Woz is screaming on the floor, man. Turn around and the staff's on top of him. Like, ow! We're like, nah.
Mate, the lower leagues at that time, it was proper old school, wasn't it? It was like, what the fuck
Yeah, it
is
was
this?
mental, man.
What is that about managers just bring dogs to training?
I don't know. It's strange, isn't it?
Pub team, man. But it was really bad under him. And then, Eddie Howe was like chalk and cheese, man.
But mate, Eddie Howe was only 31, so you're nearly 31 now. Imagine that.
It was crazy when he came in. But he got demoted. So obviously he was Kevin Bond's coach. Then he got demoted to under-13s manager.
Why do you think? I was thinking Kevin Bond thought this guy's far too busy.
No, Kevin Bond got sacked.
Right.
So they brought in another manager, but to keep Eddie at Bournemouth, they put him in under-13s. So you used to see him like bringing their academy kits to get washed on the Monday when we were going into training. And then suddenly he was a manager. But as soon as he came in, you knew, man.
Marv, see, just before, see when you heard he was getting it,
Yeah.
did you have any doubts because the age he was at?
Oh, definitely. Like, although I'd worked with him a lot on he used to work with the younger players, they'd take us when Kevin Bond was a manager for afternoon sessions. Still didn't know if he could come and be a manager so young. And Eddie's so fresh-faced as well. He just doesn't have that kind of other side about him, or we didn't think he did. But honestly, when he came in,
Did you have that side?
Can you remember his first speech? First thing he said, Marvin?
No, I don't think he did one, to be fair.
Right.
When
When was the first time, as a manager, you thought he's good?
first training session.
Yeah.
The first one.
Was it?
Yeah, the structure of the first training session.
So talk us through a structure an Eddie Howe training session.
So early doors, it was all about possession. He wanted to keep the ball. We were a long ball team, but he wanted to keep the ball. And he brought in Steve Fletcher, who spoke about off camera, to be like the target man. So everything was like, this is how we're going to play on a Saturday, and then strip it back to the Monday. This is how we're going to build up to, beating a team on a Saturday. This is their weaknesses. This is their strengths. And it was weird, man. So you'd do like 11v11, and it'd be like, say you're the weakness and you're playing left back. Every time he gets the ball, we're going to press in this way. So everyone knew what was going on. Even when we didn't have the ball, we always knew where the ball was going, and we always knew who we were going to attack and how we were going to attack them. Get him isolated, get at him. And it sounds simple, but honestly, like the way he broke it down.
Mate, at that time, that wasn't simple.
What I mean.
That wasn't
so
done.
far, there was no cash. He knew everything about everyone. Like if you asked him about any player, if we were playing against you, like what side, like he'd tell us everything. Like, but he'd tell us everything about you, like what you like to do on the ball. And at this point, like we had no videos or nothing like that. He used to like get scouts to go out for like basically nothing. The guy who's still with him now, Des Taylor, just go and do it for nothing. So he was like a fruit and veg market seller, and in the evenings he used to go and do that for Eddie. But he just used all the resources he had.
Did he have a ruthless side to him as well?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah. When you were like,
so you wouldn't imagine that, eh?
Yeah, because he doesn't look like that. He used to go, to be fair, he used to go so red, man. You still want to laugh because he looks so young. Like, come on. But he had that ruthless side and he just cut you off. It was one of them, mate. Either do it the Eddie Howe way or you were out. That was it. There was no middle ground.
I spoke to Al Connell. He says that, I says to him about Eddie Howe's ruthless side. He says, ask Marv about the Morecambe game they lost 5-0 before the Christmas do.
Al's killed me, man. I remember that, right. So yeah, we're obviously away to Morecambe. Christmas do, so we've got all our fancy dress and that, like all packed. And Eddie was saying, you can go on your Christmas do, but I don't want to see any of it. So we're like, how are we going to get this on the coach? Because he was always the first there. So basically, one of the older boys the night before had to go to the coach company, put it all underneath all our gear, so Eddie didn't see it. So we're on the way up to
Really? The night before you had to put stuff on the bus?
So he didn't see it. He didn't want to see it. If he saw it, you were done.
It was cancelled.
That was it. There was no party. So we're playing Morecambe. I think we went 1-0 down early doors. We were doing really, really well. Guy hits a wonder strike. So then there's like a 50-50. I was like, right, let me put my stamp on this game. Gone to smash this guy. And
you want 100 quid off Anderton, didn't you?
I knew straight away I was in trouble, man. The guy's on the floor screaming. I'm looking up and the referee just standing there with a red card. And this is probably about 15 minutes in.
Oh no, the day of Christmas do.
I'm like, no way, Christmas do. Like, I can feel Eddie looking at me.
Yeah.
Can't get eye contact with him, no chance. So head down, walk into the changing room, and I'm hearing cheers, cheers, cheers. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, obviously came.
Mate, I think that could be the worst thing in football.
Yeah.
You've been sent off and you could just hear them score.
But you know the thing about it, and I've never admitted this, I was just thinking, at least I didn't get like elbowed in the face or anything. I can still go on a Christmas do and like, look, I swear, like, I'll be all right, because it's always a worry in the game for the Christmas do. If I get elbowed here, that's going to ruin my night. And at this point, I'm single as well, so I'm thinking, you know what I mean? Like, let me try my. Going to Manchester as well, and I'm thinking it's a big opportunity for me.
Big opportunity for me.
Meet the woman of my life.
It's a big opportunity for me.
Did you pull a bulb that night?
No, mate.
Did you not?
No, I was terrible, man. I can't drink. I had a couple of drinks, and the next minute I was waking up and Woz was on top of me on the Sunday, man. So it didn't go too well.
That's his first lie he's talked so far, but anyway, keep going with the story.
So yeah, anyway, so we got beat 5-0. So the lads are like, what are we going to do about the Christmas do? So the older boys like, we're going. So I'm on the coach now and I'm saying, nah, lads, I can't go. So the younger boys were going, and it's one of them, like, I got put in the head, like, we're going. I'm like, I can't. Like, how can I got sent off? We lost 5-0, I can't. And by this time, the gaffer's sitting at the front of the coach, and there's no side, like, door to get off. It's one of them coaches, you got to go past him.
Oh, no.
So like, boys, we can't go. But anyway, we got forced to go. So we're all walking off, and he's not getting eye contact with absolutely anyone as they go off. So I'm like, oh, like, what's going to happen there? I go to walk past him and he turns, looks at me and says, there's no way you're going, is there? And I'm like, no. And the boys behind me just pushed me like off the coach. And I'm like, boys, I'm fucked. This is me done. Yeah. Like, I'm absolutely done. Yeah, when we saw him on Monday, he was raging. I can't believe you boys went. He brought in like a psychiatrist to speak to us. He said, these boys are not right. They're not right, man. I swear. Like,
but see, after the 5-0 game, what was he like in the dressing room?
Oh, raging, like bright red, going mental, throwing stuff about. Like, at this point, I'm already changed and I'm in the back of my head thinking I didn't get elbowed. So
wait,
I'm like,
tell me you're not changing it the night out, yeah?
No, into my like tracksuit and that. I'm changed. I'm just sitting in the corner hoping he doesn't get like
Did you slaughter anybody?
Like, yeah, me.
Did he?
Yeah. Went through me, went through a couple of the older boys as well. But I deserved it, but it's just one of them, like, just a
it's a 50-50 tackle for me, isn't it?
Yeah, but my tackle wasn't nice, man.
Yeah.
And none of the boys protected me. There's a picture of it and all their players are just around me and not one of the lads are around me. Absolutely don't give a shit about it. Like, he's sent off, he's on his own kind of thing.
Have you ever won the day of Christmas do? I've never won the day of Christmas do.
Nah, never.
You always get beat, didn't you, the day of Christmas do?
And you don't give a fuck, to be honest. You know? You're no caring, Simon, ain't you? Know,
the whole way off the pitch, so you're saying, Jiggy, he's going to cancel the Christmas do.
That's the only worry, innit?
Have you had the Christmas do cancelled?
No. I don't agree with managers that cancel it, mate.
Yeah, you lose the dressing room, man.
I don't like it, but regardless of the performance, let the boys go and enjoy yourself. If they do whatever they do, mate, that's it. Don't cancel, because as you said, you'll think about that for
you
the
lose
manager.
the boys as well, didn't you?
We shouldn't have went though, 5-0.
No, of course you should go.
No chance. I don't know
what. You doing well that year?
I think we're doing okay. Okay, but 5-0.
I think
Morecambe as well, mate. Morecambe.
You know the worst thing? They have to drop us off in Manchester.
See, just on Eddie Howe, see at that time, was he doing everything at the club? Was he
Everything.
So what, like, for example, what?
Like the analyst stuff he would do, not that we had, like, so he'd be speaking to Des and he'd be writing the stuff down, he'd be doing all the coaching, all the recruitment, like absolutely everything. Like anything around the ground that needed done, he was doing all that.
Who did he bring in?
Jason Tyndall. Jason Tyndall was the assistant manager. Right. So he was at Weymouth before and then he came across with Eddie to Bournemouth. So he was his assistant. It was just those two. And goalie coach, Neil Moss, is still there now.
Right.
So
he's kept all that staff that have been there since League Two.
Did you know right away he was going to go?
Yeah, you knew. You knew. Because obviously I had a few managers at non-league and then a couple within the professional game, but he was a different
How long
breed.
was he there for? Did he leave?
Yeah, he left to go to Burnley.
What, to Burnley?
Yeah, like maybe 18 months, I would say.
And did he take you to Burnley, Will?
Yeah, he took me to Burnley. But me and Eddie, like, I'm quite opinionated, so we used to clash quite a lot. Like, in a respectful manner, but, you know, we used to clash a lot. So when he left, I was thinking, he's probably thinking, thank fuck, I got rid of Marv, like, in my ear kind of thing. And then, yeah, he took me.
Well, I'm really surprised in that, because a wee bit with, I thought he might not have enjoyed somebody maybe coming back at him.
Yeah.
You're actually saying that he did like that?
Yeah, he didn't mind it, as long as you had, like something to your argument.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If I'd have just said, oh, why are we doing this? He'd have been like, who the fuck are you talking to? But if I'd have said, I think we're doing this and it's wrong for this reason, he liked that. Yeah. He liked people thinking for themselves. And he always had an answer, by the way. He's one of those managers say, well, why are we doing this? And some managers would be like, just get on with it. He always had an answer. Bang. This is the reason. And you'd just be like, fucking hell, man.
Yeah, what can you say?
Yeah, I can't argue with that. But
so did he phone you up, Marv, after he went to Burnley?
No, I didn't hear from him. Didn't hear a word from him. Like, honestly, he left after we played Colchester. Didn't hear a word from him. And then it got to like near the deadline day. So he must have been up there for like 6 weeks, say. And then I got a call saying, you know, the club had put a bid, Burnley put a bid in and Bournemouth rejected it. And the chairman...
Got a call from who, your agent?
No, I didn't have an agent at the time. So from the club, from Bournemouth. They said Burnley had put a bid in, but we've rejected it, but we need to see you in the morning. So I think it was like, 2 days like prior to the window closing. So I was like, right, went in, saw the chairman, saw Lee Bradbury. They're like, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I don't mind staying to the end of the season, but then I want to go. They're like, right, that's fine, no problem at all. Then I got a call from someone who was working on Burnley's behalf and they told me the wages. So I was like,
oh, mate, you're pushing to the move straight away.
I'm like, can you text that to me? Yeah. I was like, can you text that to me? And they're like, yeah.
Because you'd have been on shit door at that time.
Yeah, exactly. And then they offered me that. I was just like, right, let's try and get this done. So I went in and saw the chairman next. I said, listen, this is what they're offering. You know, I want to go up the road. You're not going. Got to deadline day, kept rejecting the bids. I think there's like 4 or 5 bids, kept rejecting them. I was like, fucking hell, man. So I'm at home. Like, Burnley booked me a flight from Bournemouth to Manchester and said, right, this is going to go ahead. You need to get on the flight. You need to come up, do your medical. I think it was like 4 o'clock the flight. So they put a bid in at 3:30, rejected again, and Burnley's like, right, that's it, done. But back then, the loan window would open, I think it was a week into it. Yeah. So we'll get you on loan in view to a permanent. Got to about 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'm living in Bournemouth, by the way. It closed at 11. Chairman called me from Bournemouth. We've accepted a bid. I was like, you're fucking joking. Like, I said, how am I going to get there now? He's like, that's not my problem. We've accepted it now. Like, absolute dick. So I've jumped in my car, called my brother on the way. I said, listen, I need to get to Burnley. He's like, right, meet me at the services at Newbury. We'll drive up. How we got there, I have no idea. We must have broken every speed camera. It's in my car as well. How I didn't get a ban from driving, I swear to you, no idea. Got there at 5 to 11, ran in, no medical, signed the paperwork. Back then it was like faxes, you had to fax to the FA. Yeah. Gone to fax it, the machine's jammed. I was like, no way. I was like, how's your luck, man? Like, absolutely buzzing on going on this new contract. Fax machine's jammed. So I'm looking at the woman and she's like, there's nothing we can do, it's jammed. It's gone like 5 past 11, can't put it through now. She goes, go back to the hotel, which they booked for me and my brother. We'll speak to you in the morning. So I got a call in the morning from Bournemouth, where are you? Because obviously transfer's not gone through at this point. I was like, what do you mean? I'm in Manchester, right? You find a week's wages.
What? You're Bournemouth and found a week's wages?
So I'm not training. I was like, hang on a minute, what do you want me to do here?
Oh my God, man.
Like, I've driven up here. Chen was like, no, you find a week's wages. I'm like, whatever. I said, oh, fine. I said, listen, I'm going to head back down because Burnley had a game that day, so I'm going to drive back down anyway, and I'll be in tomorrow.
Mate, that must have been the worst feeling in your life.
Horrible, honestly, absolutely. Because in my head, I'm spending all that money.
Money's gone,
and
mate. Now you're a week's wages.
Yeah, it's like I had a new car, everything, man. And now I'm driving back down the road thinking, geez, this is messed up. But then Burnley called me. I must have got about an hour from Bournemouth. Said it's gone through. The FA have accepted that we tried to fax it. There's a receipt of us trying to put it through. It said it's been jammed. They've accepted the transfer, and obviously it went through that day. And went to Bournemouth, picked my stuff up, and back up to Burnley.
That's painful. Remember, you got that jammed.
Couldn't believe it. Couldn't get it out for ages.
What did you get jammed?
Toilet fan. So you always talk about every week in the show. You're obsessed with that Burnley team with the characters in it.
Yeah.
Even Thompson.
Talk about it on the show every week.
See. Can you tell me a story? Was Big Tomo there?
Yeah. Tomo was there.
Was he wild? Because see, when I watch him, he seems a lovely guy, but
No, he's wild.
Was he?
Yeah.
Can you give us a story about him that's allowed on air?
One that he used to always say to me is like, obviously I came from a smaller club, so he was a wank, to be honest. He used to be like, big stadium, this, innit? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you must be nervous, like big stadium, you never played anything like this. And at this point, I'm playing and Tom is on the bench. And he used to always be saying it to me. I was like, mate, you don't even play. And that's when he began to leave me alone. But yeah, on a night out, he was honestly wild. Just like, almost like he had Tourette's, man. He just used to like, scream random things and that in your ear and like lick you and stuff. And I wasn't used to this. I'm like, Tomo, man, like I'm from a bit of like a sheltered background. Clearly, if this is what goes on like up here, I'm not really into it, but he didn't care.
Smashing glasses, he smashes glasses and all, didn't he?
Yeah, like doing absolute madness. There's no respect for anyone. I just didn't care, man.
It's mad to think, isn't it?
I can't quite grasp it. Simon, who was the other characters you loved in that?
So Charlie Austin was there, I spoke to him as well. He says to ask you about night after Cardiff. Remember? What's it killing you? Is it holiday or something?
Yeah. Charlie, to be fair, obviously you know him from Swindon, but yeah, great guy. So he came up the same sort of time as me. So me and Charlie used to always be together. We were in the hotel and that. And he said, talking about night after Cardiff, but what about like, so I'll tell you a story about when we used to get like food at the hotel. So obviously have like pre-match and whatever else the day of the game. But before we used to stay in the hotel. So 6 o'clock was dinner time, go up to our room. And Charlie's like, Marv, you hungry? This is the first trip. And I was like, yeah, I am. So we used to get room service. Like, he's like, what do you want? I said, I'll have a sandwich. Charlie used to get a burger and chips and sticky toffee pudding every time, mate. Every time.
Diet terror.
So we're constantly doing this. Good 3 or 4 months in. So then we hear a knock at the door, as we do every away game. Open it, and it's Eddie.
Oh, no.
With the food. So like, I've opened the door, and I'm like, you all right? And he's like, you all right? And I was like, what are you doing? Because at this point I'm thinking, I'm not admitting to this. He was like, you've ordered food, haven't you, to your room? I was like, no. He's like, you've ordered food. I was like, that was Charlie. He's like, was it? I was like, yeah, I just walked out of the room, mate. I don't know what he said to Charlie when he went in there, but I was gone, mate.
Oh,
absolutely gone, yeah. But that was kind of Eddie. But yeah, the night after Cardiff, we had a wild one. To be fair, he got thrown under the bus, man, by a coach. So his missus worked in the club. By the way, it's night after a game. You know, we don't have training the next day. We've decided to go out. Yeah. And then, to be fair, Charlie got away with it. I got a call on the Wednesday saying, get in here now, you're doing the gym. And I was like, why? Like, you're doing the gym. So I came in, he's like, well, you were out last night. I was like, yeah.
What was the big deal?
Just didn't want boys out. And I was like, what do you mean? Like I said, we don't have training today. Like I've gone out. I didn't actually drink. Yeah. Genuinely, I drove with a few of the other boys. Like, no, now you got to do the gym. And we were like, how did he find this out? And it's only that one of the coaches was grafting on a bird. So she worked in there. And he must have thought we were going in there to graft on her. Threw us under the bus, man.
So at Burnley at that time, Eddie wasn't that successful at Burnley, was he?
Nah, but the changing room, man. Like, they were alcoholics. Like, literally, man, the changing room was so bad. The drinking culture, yeah. We had, like, Kevin McDonald, like, Brian Easton, Tomo, Clark Carlisle. The only like responsible older ones were like Michael Duffy's at Cheltenham manager now and Grezza, who's a Motherwell manager. But the rest, man, like massive drinkers. Like so much so, like on a Friday night going to a game, I remember I had like glass bottles hitting each other as we were getting off. And I was like, what's that noise? Like, what's going on here? Like, boys got glasses in their thing, and getting up to the room, we're in the lift, and one of the lads like open their thing, like, yeah, I've got 2 bottles of red for tonight. And I'm like, what the we're playing tomorrow, man. Like, what's going on? But it was so bad. David Edgar was another one.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, he couldn't, there's nothing you could do with that changing room. And he tried to change it, I think, get rid of those boys at the end of the season. So Tomo was bombed off. I'd love to tell him that me and Eddie had a chat about him. He was like, yeah, he's no good, man. Yeah, no good for us. So he was bombed off. But yeah, he couldn't do a lot with them, if I'm honest. And he tried to change it. They wanted a younger team, but they wanted us to win straight away. They want to go back to the Premier League, and it's not that easy.
Did the boys not respond to you, Eddie?
The difficulty was a lot of them were the same age as him.
Right.
And when he came in, they weren't doing things his way, these older boys. So he was like, right, you're going. But they kind of knew they were going before the season ended. So yeah, it just went the other way. We had like Chris Eagles as well, like another big character, Tyrone Mears. So it was, good players there, but it's just the older boys.
Shane Duffy and John Guidetti.
Guidetti was before me, and Shane Duffy came on loan.
Right.
He was so quiet though.
Was he?
Oh man, so quiet. Came on loan from Everton, like just a really like classic guy, like really, really quiet. To be fair, he didn't have the best of times there. He like struggled a bit. He was a young boy coming to Championship for the first time, so his form was a bit shaky. Probably been better off having me at centre half at that point. But obviously, he's going to have a good career.
Trippier was
frightening
at Burnley, wasn't he?
Yeah,
was he the real deal?
Oh,
Can't remember.
His delivery for right back was ridiculous.
But it was terrible when he came.
Was it?
Honest to God, I'm not joking. He used to probably hit 100 crosses after training every day. It was horrific, and then suddenly he just found this almost like Beckham-like crossing that he could just whip it in. He just constantly worked at his game. They signed him from Man
Did he
City.
take that upon himself, Marv?
No, Eddie said, if you do this, you'll go to the next level. Like, genuinely, had a chat with him. If you do this, you go to the next level. And same with Ben Mee, who's the captain at Burnley now. Because he was tiny, and Man City was like too small to play centre-half, has to be a left-back. He said, Eddie was a centre-half. He said, if you do this, you'll play at the top level. And he just used to work. He used to work with, say, me, Ben, Trips, Jay Rodriguez, Charlie. They've all gone on to have great careers, and look at me, man. Fuck me. Fuck me, mate.
Danny Ings as well. Mate, was Ings at Bournemouth?
Yeah.
I thought
he almost got released.
I'm sure I played again.
He went on loan to Dorchester and did really well though. Like, I think he scored like 10 goals in 15 games, and he came back and he was obviously flying. Then he came up to us at Burnley. But he worked with all these young boys, Junior Stanislas.
Yeah.
To me, I've been done it. I'm the only one who's had a
What's
shit
happened
career.
to you?
What's happened there?
Fuck me.
What was he telling you?
Obviously, I weren't listening. I wasn't working. I'm looking at all these players and they're playing at the top flight and they're all rich and that. And
But that's
getting the bus here.
That's what Celtic need.
They need
Developing players, making them better.
Do you think he would be good with Celtic?
100%. When I hear people say that he'll struggle there, no, he wouldn't. Like, I'm telling you now, look what he did with Bournemouth. No matter what you say, they should have never been in the Premier League for the amount of time they were.
Nah.
Yeah, they spent some money, but everyone does.
You need to spend it in the league.
Yeah, of course. And he's kept them up there, and then, obviously, when they got relegated, he ended up leaving. Now look at them, they're struggling in the Championship.
Marv, this is just Simon playing devil's advocate.
Okay, I like when you do that.
Thanks very much. I think you're thinking about that all night when you do that. But see, I've heard before, right, in Glenn Johnson, a couple of them saying that he doesn't deal with, he struggles with our senior players if they've got an opinion.
Yeah.
So see if he went to Celtic and there was maybe, Celtic haven't actually really got a lot of them, but if there was some senior players, does he back after that side, or?
I don't think he struggles with it. I think if you've got an opinion, you must back it up on the pitch.
Right.
So they might have got to a point with those players, you wanted the old Glenn Johnson or the young Jermaine Defoe, and they weren't the same anymore. So I think that's where he might have struggled with it. They might have had the opinions they did when they were, say, 5 or 6 years ago, but they weren't producing on the pitch. So he doesn't have a problem with that because, as I said, he has an answer for everything he tells you to do. He has an answer for.
Right.
There's no just do it. He always has an answer for it. So
does he do everything, Marv, in terms of training?
Everything on the grass, everything. You go to training, and no matter what time you turn up, I promise you, everything's set up on the training pitch. He must do it in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Like a few times, like boys being boys, like a bunch of big kids. Me and Charlie say, right, let's go to training really early and be there before him, try and piss him off. You go there and you just be there, mate. Everything's set up, his door's open. And we're like, what is this guy sleeping there? Like, him as a manager, he wasn't just a manager, he's like, it's his life. And that's why he looks so drained at the end of Bournemouth, because everything he does is for football at that point, and that's why he needs the rest that he's getting now.
Mate, what manager turns up to your hotel
Mate.
to see what you're eating? So do you think he went and said, can I see what the boys have been ordering?
Well, he must have said that, yeah. He must have said, like, what's been ordered there? And
the other manager does that, man.
nah.
That's superb, isn't it?
Now he knows it was me though, so hopefully he doesn't watch it, because at that point he just thought it was Charlie, man.
Were you, I can just remember thinking back.
With your dad, he was there with your dad, wasn't
Were
he?
you with Big Sean Dyche?
Yeah. Yeah, I was there with him, yeah. He was class, to be fair.
Was he?
Yeah. He was class. Everyone always thinks I had a problem with him because he was the manager who came in after Eddie, you know, when I left. But he was class with me, really was. And the reason why I left Burnley was because of me.
See, but comparing him to Eddie Howe, was it night and day with the training, the type of training and stuff?
Yeah, very different. But Sean Dyche isn't a coach, so he's got Tony Lockwood who does the coaching.
Right.
So he would never really set stuff up. He would step in and say, like, take the tempo up or do this or do that. And that's the thing with management. People think there's only one way, and there isn't. Because those two are totally different, but both very, very successful in what they do. Do you know what I mean? So he brings in people around him who can coach. He realises he's not the best coach in the world.
Yeah.
That's part of being a manager, isn't it?
And with the food, Sean Dyche probably would have ate the burger.
He definitely. He'd have ordered a pint with it as well, man. I like the way Charlie's been throwing me under the bus though, but didn't tell you about his yo-yo test.
Go on then, tell us. Oh, mate, he was so unfit.
So unfit. So
we didn't
signed.
Care, Charlie, man.
I know. We signed there in the January, and then pre-season was coming up. So come to the end of the season, pre-season was coming up. So me and Charlie are talking. He's like, "What are you doing, Marv, over the summer?" I was like, "I'm doing my program they're giving me. What are you doing?" So I'm just gonna chill, And then the last
Watch
week,
horses.
last week I'll hit it hard. And I was like, the last week? He's like, yeah. So anyway, I didn't see him over the 6-week period. Up at Burnley, first day in, Charlie comes out the car and he's visibly heavy. He's fat, right? So I'm like, Chaz, what's happened? He's like, oh mate, I left it too late. So I was like, you're in massive trouble here. So we go in, get our groups for testing for the yo-yo. Me and Charlie are in the same group, buzzing, because I know I'm beating him. No matter what I do, I'm beating him. So we started the yo-yo, and I think we got to like level 8, but we needed to get up to like level 14 as a minimum. At level 8, Charlie's turning about a yard early already.
Wow, at level 8?
I swear, and there's 2 goalies in our group, right, cruising. So I've looked at Charlie and I was like, you all right? He's like, well, I'm going to have to stop. I was like, what? I was like, you can't stop now. So Charlie, you cannot stop. So Marv, I'm going to have to stop. So he's carried on for a few more levels, turning earlier and earlier. At this point, Eddie's came out because we should just be warming up now with the yo-yo. Came out and seen Charlie, and he's like the fitness coach. I see them talking. Charlie's like, Marv, they're on to me, aren't they? I was like, yeah, you're fucked, mate. Like, I'm just trying to throw him under the bus now. So I'm thinking, get him out and then let them concentrate on him. He must have got to like level 9.5, 10, and he just collapsed on the floor. But if they did it properly, he was out at level 9. He was turning so early. He was was
he out before the goalies?
Yeah, he was out before the goalies. But he's a goal scorer. He went mental. They made him go with the coach, like one-on-one, the strength and conditioning coach, one-on-one. But Charlie's a goal scorer. He's
put the ball in the box, so he's an animal.
Exactly, never in great shape. I'll never forget the game we played against Derby. I think he had 18 touches of the ball in the attacking half and scored a hat-trick.
Wow.
He just got the knacker.
Was he always unfit? Well, not unfit, but was he always sort of heavy when he was Premier?
But we never, like, he came for Swindon, mate, where I told you that year was like a stag do for me. We'd have been someone as Bournemouth team out 3 nights a week. Danny Wilson was 5-a-sides every day.
Yeah.
Charlie would turn up like 5 minutes before training, jump out his motor, play and go home. There was no sort of
structure to it.
Structure in that.
Do you think there's certain players sometimes you need to, I don't mean let do what they want, but...
Nah, not these days. You can't get away with it. You can't have passengers now, eh?
Yeah,
what a terrible point for me.
Cut that out.
I feel sick.
Cut that out.
I feel sick of myself. Completely not played. Can I just ask them, man, do you still keep in contact with Eddie Howe?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Is he getting a select job?
I've not spoken to him for a little while, actually.
But Marv, he's looking smarter, didn't he?
Yeah,
Think so?
really good.
Baggy
Really
suit, but
good.
innit?
I'm happy with that, man. Looking good, man.
Thanks very much.
I think you pull baggy off for.
Aye, you go to and
I think skin tight would really suit
No,
you.
I'm not got the body in. I know, Simon.
Not got the nipples for it.
Yeah.
And then, mate, you got... So how did you leave Burnley?
So I left on loan, but basically I wasn't playing under Sean Dyche. I was injured at the start.
I thought you'd be a Sean Dyche type as
No,
well.
but that's the thing. I think he thought I was as well, but my mind was just like all over the place. I was thinking, my dad's gone. Eddie's gone. Do you know what I mean? I need to get down the road. Fuck this. I want to go to Bournemouth. They got cash as well. Get me in there. So
was there no chance of that happening?
he wasn't allowed to sign players for the first 6 months of being there. So I wasn't doing well at Burnley. To be fair, I was doing well in the team. Dyche took me then back out. And then my head went. I wasn't doing extras in training to keep fit or whatever. And then I remember on the Monday before a game, he's like, right, you're starting tomorrow. I was like, no way. Like, surely not. A good 6 weeks out of the team. Surely I'm not starting. Played against Barnsley away. And the old cramp thing came back, didn't it?
Oh, no.
5 or 10 minutes in. To be fair, in the warm
10 minutes into the game?
Do you know what? I think I was just so nervous that I wasn't right within myself, that my body was just like, everything was tight.
Did you struggle with nerves as a player?
Not really, like, not massively, but just a couple of times,
Times.
At that time, I struggled because I knew this was my massive chance. I knew I wasn't ready to take it. And that was the only time in my professional career I've taken my foot off the gas, like personally as a player, and just gone away from what I do. Because I work as hard as I possibly can every single day. And that time I didn't do it, and it bit me in the arse, because that was my last. It took me off at half time. And if you took me off after 20 minutes, I couldn't have argued, genuinely. And that's the reason I left. And people always think, oh, Sean died. It wasn't him, it was me. Like, I always take accountability for that.
5-10 minutes.
Like, literally. Do you know, I'm not even...
What, the calves? Was it in the calves?
Yeah, but I'm not even lying. See, in the warm-up, I spoke to, like, the strength and conditioning coach who was still there from Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
I said, everything feels so tight. And he's like, nah, he said it was nerves. He said, you'll be all right, like, once... But it didn't get better.
So did he go through it at half time?
No, he just took me off. I think he just knew, like, what's the point in going through me, man? It's like, do you know what I mean? Back and horse in the Grand National, and you know what I mean? You're a little bit in, and my jockey's riding me already. And I'm like, oh my God, he's whipping me, man. I've got nothing more.
And then Leyton Orient, Leyton Orient were
Was Barry Hell in charge then?
Yeah. So Barry Hearn was in charge for the first 6 months.
Did you have any dealings with him? Did you meet him at all?
Yeah.
Who starts the transfer?
So he's the one who I spoke to. He was there all the time.
Was he arrogant?
Nah.
No?
Nah. Lovely guy. Lovely. Yeah, honestly, like, proper lovely guy. But you can tell back in the day he would have probably been naughty.
Yeah.
Like, just the way he used to say certain things, and like the confidence and the swagger he had about himself. And you're thinking, you're an old man, but clearly you must have known people.
Yeah.
But lovely guy. Like, so I dealt with him when I first went down there.
And then
So how long's he in before the mad owner's coming?
6 months, man. Like 6 months.
So did he not said a word to you when you signed about, like, I might be going in this?
Nothing.
Did he sell you, like, a plan for the future?
Yeah, well, he just said, like, come down, we'll do really well. Sorry, it wasn't 6 months, it was a year, because I was on season on loan. You know, we're going to do really well this season, we're really going for it. And to be fair to him, we did.
Yeah.
You know, ended up finished second, but I think back then only one team went up. So we were in the playoffs. And then we heard rumours of an Italian owner coming in with, like, plenty of cash. So we're like, wow, this is going to be decent. Like, boys going to be getting new deals left, right and centre. So everyone was just thinking about, like, this is going to be class. So the guy came to, when we played Brentford, sell out, absolutely buzzing. Lost in the playoff final, the guy's there again. And then I think it was only a couple of days after the playoff final, we lost. Alex Ravel scored a couple of goals, and they're like, right, the club's been sold to the new Italians. You get to meet them, and like we had conversations with them over the summer and that, and the plans were massive. And the new contract was great, and things went from bad to worse from there, man.
was it terrible?
Oh, mate. Like, to be fair to him, right, he got done over because he put a lot of money in. He went to Russell Slade, who was the manager at the time, and Russell will tell you, blank piece of paper, whatever players you want that are free transfers, I'll get you them. Whoever you want. Doesn't matter where they've played, no matter what league they're playing, I have the money to get them. So Russell Slade's like, oh, really? So he's put down like Joby McAnuff, who's a manager now.
Yeah,
just been
is that for Reading, Marv?
Yeah. Captain of Reading.
Yeah.
Darius Henderson, who was at like Watford and other teams, and Jay Simpson. So Slade's come to us and be like, this is never going to happen.
Jay Simpson was ridiculous.
A joke, mate. So about a week later, all three of them are there.
Wow.
We're like, what the hell's going on here, mate? He's actually backed him up. But Russell Slade, as a manager, was just lucky for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So he had these big characters come in, didn't know what to do with them. And the next minute he's going to Cardiff on a bumper deal, man. But that didn't end too well. But yeah, it was crazy.
I spoke to Scott Cuthbert. He says, ask Marvin about the chairman. The chairman thanked Darius Henderson for showing up the second time.
Sorry. Hendo, have you ever come across Hendo?
No, I don't think so.
Right. Just
big
like,
boy, Tony.
Yeah. Dangerous boy, by the way. See, when you used to play fight with him, horrible guy, mate. Like, put you in arm locks and that.
Right.
Like, but yeah, Hendo was bothered. So he just came there for the cash. He would be the first to admit that. So Hendo used to turn up sometimes. It's like playing fights with your mates. Sometimes they would come, sometimes he wouldn't. So we had a game, and Hendo's meant to be starting, and we're looking around like, where's Hendo? Hendo's not here. His kit's laid out, there's nothing under his space. So the boys are calling him, Hendo, where are you? He's like, oh, I'm just leaving my house. I'm not joking, at this point, we're getting ready to go and do the warm-up. So it's like 2:20. So I'm just leaving my house, I'll be there soon. This is how crazy the club were. They were gonna start. They told the chairman he's on his way, he's gonna be about an hour and a half. They said, start with 10 men. We're like, how can you start with 10 men? He's like, just bring him on, because Hendo was on absolute cash. So we'll just bring him on. So anyway, we started with 11 men. Hendo turns up, and the chairman's like, put him on now. You can see the chairman from the top, the gantry, shouting down, put him on. We're like, what? Like, seriously? 25, 30 minutes into the game, he wants someone subbed off. We're like, you can't do that. You can't put him on. I think Hendo would have probably refused. But then at half time, he came down to do this thing and said, Darius, thank you for coming. And Hendo's like, no problem, where's my cash? Like, Hendo didn't care, mate.
Thank you for coming.
Didn't care, man.
But do you know offer his cash to stay up the last 3 games?
Yeah. And this is how bad we were, right? So we were struggling. Like, honestly, our squad was a joke. The amount of money he invested was an absolute joke. So he had this driver. He used to have like a Rolls Royce. He used to like park underneath. We had a driver, Tyrone from Snatch. He's in Tyrone, the big black guy.
Yeah, from Snatch.
Right, so
cool suck.
Yeah. So we saw his driver, like this proper fat like black guy used to come in, and he was massive. And I remember one day saying, he's not just a driver. Like he didn't have like chauffeur stuff on, like jeans and a top and that. Like, who's this guy? To one of the other Italian guys, and he's like, that guy's loaded. And I was like, what do you mean loaded? Like rich? He's like, no, God. I was like, no chance, man. So anyway, like they call a meeting, a couple of games to go. Him and Tyrone come up. So Tyrone's got a briefcase. It's like, right, decent. What's going on here? It's like, you players are shit. So I'm like, right, this is not the best start to the meeting. He's like, but you stay up, I will pay you. We're like, oh, whatever. I've been promised loads of stuff. And Tyrone just puts the briefcase on there, mate. Opens it up and it's just full of cash. You win 3 games, you get this. I'm like, right. Like,
how much drink was that?
A lot, like 50s, mate. A lot. I'm guessing. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I'm guessing over 100k. 100k, mate.
No way.
I swear, Big Tyrone just opened it up, mate.
Did he?
Just let you see it and then closed it and just look you in the eye, mate.
Did he?
Yeah, you better win. I think we lost 2 and drew 1. I think Swindon beat us. I think Swindon relegated us the final day.
Easy say.
No, I think I was away that time.
You were away.
Was that where Kazim?
Yeah. Them boys,
team as well, mate.
Bopping it,
They
mate.
popped it.
So I'm thinking, right, 100k's on the line. I'm going to give it everything. Couldn't get near them. I was like,
They
wow,
were a
man.
good team.
I'll tell you.
And what about the reality TV show? What was that?
So he's like, he said, I'm going to do a reality TV show. Because he had like an Albanian TV channel, like their version of BBC. He owned it. So he brought across all these players and he's like, right, I'm going to do this reality show. All these boys from Italy. So like, they would come into like the lunch hall and they would have like, their food would be unbelievable. Like platters and stuff. Like their food was
So
great.
these were reality TV stars coming to Leyton Orient?
Cummings and Leyton Orient, but they were 2 different kind of teams. So they would train on one pitch, we would train on the other. So there'd be all cameras around their pitch, like all the new balls, like unbelievable kit, and we'd have all the shit. So we're like, what's going on? Like we're actually in the league and these lot are just like, do you know what I mean, they're on a show. So you go into lunch and that their food would be unbelievable, and then we've got like, almost like we're in prison, man, like slops, and they're like, how is this fair? And then he came in and said, and we were like, it's unfair. Why have they got good food and we've got bad? He said, because they make me money and you lose me money. So I just like, crazy, man.
Were you see at that time? Did you have enough of football?
No, I was done.
Were you?
Honestly, man, I was done. Yeah, I was like, I'm retiring after this. I was like, I can't take this. Like, if we go down, I was like, that's me finished. We had like 4 or 5 managers in that time as well. He was sacking managers after games. Like, even though we were doing well, like I said about DeSena. Like just sacking people, hiring a manager. The manager told me he could talk English, comes to the first meeting, and there's no English, there's a translator, and he wants to sack him after. He's like, and then 2 years later, the guy's gone. Just like...
So how did he know in an interview that he couldn't speak English?
Because in the interview, obviously they're both Italian, so the guy's talking Italian.
Oh my God, man.
It was
would you
crazy.
see in times like that at clubs, would you be vocal through the season that you weren't happy to the owners? Or?
No. With Tyrone there?
Nah, fuck.
Mate, I was saying I was happy. And you're still trying, do you know what I mean? Still trying to keep the team up, but it's a shambles from the top, man. It was and he had enough because he invested a lot of money and we were getting worse by the week. So he probably thought, well, what's the point? He was bringing players from everywhere.
Wow.
Absolutely, like I said, DeSena.
So what was the DeSena story?
So DeSena was obviously a left back, played like Liverpool and stuff. So
that DeSena?
Yeah. Played for like Italy, Napoli and like Sunderland in the Premier League.
He was at Orient?
Yeah, they signed him. So he was one of the big signings. So DeSena came in, by the way, lovely guy, full of cash. Again, like Darren Anderton, full of cash, man. Everything he's got is cash. Like, he was saying, I'm going to go to the bookies and I'm going to bet that he's a massive gambler. I'm like, whatever, Andreas, like lying. And he'd pull the money out of his wash bag and be like, all right, he's not lying. But we had a game anyway, 1-0 down at half time. Chairman comes down doing his usual thing. Tyrone's in the background coming through as well, like squeezing through the door. So like, right, what's going to go on here? Chairman's like, right, put him up front. And we're looking around like, who? Because in that corner, it's like me, DeSena, like the defenders were all together.
Yeah.
Like Scotty Cuthbert would have been there as well. Like, can't be like one of us. Put him up front. He said, this league is so bad, I pay him 17,000 euros a week. He must score. He must score. These players are so bad. And we're all sitting there thinking, mate, I'm giving you everything. Like, I'm feeling like I'm the prime Marvin Bartley. You're telling me I'm rubbish. Like, do you know what I mean? There's not much more I can give you. So the manager's
Did the manager do it?
No, so the manager's like, okay. So the chairman's gone back upstairs. Didn't do it. Won the game 2-1. So the chairman's come back down again with Tyrone waddling through. And we're like, he's going to be buzzing there, like probably give us a bit of cash. He said, he said, "Oh, boys, well done for winning." And he said, "You see you, the manager?" So the manager's smiling. He's like, "You are fired." We're just sitting there like...
Because you never played the centre up front?
Because he didn't put him up front. We're like, are you serious?
Man, that sounds terrible.
And he signed another striker like Plasmati, an Italian boy and he was the worst player I've ever played with at any level. Sunday league level to professional, the worst player.
Worse than Roger?
Worse than Roger, mate. Roger would have marked him out of the game. And he was on €9,000 a week, man.
No way.
Because when he was bringing in the Italian boys, they just leave their contracts about. They didn't care. They didn't care, mate. But it was, honestly, some of the English boys, they were a nightmare. There's one boy there, I won't mention him, but he got like 4 or 5 contracts from them by constantly saying, I want more money. Because he was a golden boy at this time.
Right.
And the fans loved him and he worked social media so well. And he was just getting contract after contract after contract, mate, until they just had enough of him. And what they did to him in the end is they released him after the deadline had closed, so he couldn't play for anyone else. And now he's just like kicking about in non-league, but he made a fortune from them.
Because there was a few older boys at that time. I remember Rowlands and Lee Cook. Like they were older, experienced boys who played in the Prem and that. What were they? What
but
were
they went. So they went. They went. Yeah, they had gone the season before I'd went.
Oh,
there.
right. Okay.
Yeah, because those boys wouldn't have been having that.
No, they wouldn't have
chance.
done it.
No way.
Dysfunctional, mate. Talking to dysfunctional. Put your socks up on the. You got on socks on? What? When's an ankle sock?
That sounds tiny, man.
So when did I get enough at Leyton Orient, or did you contract on it?
Yeah, my contract ran out. I got offered a new contract, but it was dependent on staying up.
From the Italians?
From the Italians, yeah.
How did that convo go?
So just like, this is your contract, and it was like, you will sign if we stay up. If we go down, then maybe not. That was it. That's what he said. So he gave it to me and there was no negotiations. Like, that's the contract, you'll be signing that. Then we got relegated that year. So then in the summer, they actually called me and said, oh, like, we can offer you a contract on reduced terms. But honestly, I had enough. I was like, willing to walk away from football. It was that bad then.
Wow.
I was on holiday. I remember getting a call and I just like said to my missus at the time, I was like, nah, that's not for me. Like, I'm actually done with football. Like the way it ended at Burnley, which was my fault. And then the time there, I was just like, it's been like 2.5 years of just madness.
And is that when Hibs came in for you?
Yeah. So
are other teams at that point?
So, yeah, other teams in England. But they were like League One teams. So like Notts County and that were in League One, and there are a few other, like Bristol Rovers and League One teams are coming in. And I just thought to myself, there was no spark in me.
Nah.
For the first time, I just thought, what's the point in going to go? Like, yeah, I'm going to be able to earn a living, but I'm not actually enjoying this anymore. It's almost like going back to that academy days at Reading. I'm back to that kind of mindset. I'm not enjoying this anymore, you know. And people think, well, you're so lucky to play football, but at that point, I didn't feel that way. So I was like, saying to those teams, oh, I'm going to leave it. And then Hibs called me, and I didn't know about Hibs, if I'm honest. You know, I didn't know a lot about Scottish football other than Celtic Rangers, and I knew about Aberdeen a little bit. I called my brother and said, all right, Hibs came in, and he was like, well, Hibs are like a massive club and whatever else. And I wasn't really keen on it, if I'm honest, either. But when I came up, I met Graham Matthew, and showed me around the stadium.
Good guy, Graham Matthew.
Oh, class, man.
Yeah,
class. Still speak to him now around the training ground, and I was like, do you know what, I'm sold on this, let's do it.
So who phoned you for Hibs? Can you remember?
Graham Matthew.
Was it Graham Matthew that phoned you?
He's a pest, man. Honestly.
Because he does it, mate. He does it all the analysis. He'd have been somewhere. He'd have known everything about you, Graham Matthew. Yeah.
They don't give up though.
Nah.
Like, cause the first couple of times I was like, nah, I'm not too sure. Like, I'm not too sure. And he's like, oh, just come up and I'll book you flights for you and your brother. Honestly, like, if I had birds like Graham Matthew, mate, I'll be sorted. But instead, I don't. So
is your brother your agent, man?
Nah, just like.
You've never had an agent?
I had an agent at the start. Well, I got done over, didn't I, at the start by one. And I've been mindful ever since then. Yeah. So my brother just deal with everything like football. Just helped me do it. Do you know what I mean? I know what I want. I know the money I want. I know what I can live off and what I can't live off, kind of thing. So do it myself. And I think honesty is the best policy. I just go in there and say to them, this is what I want. Can you do it?
Yeah. I mean, I just thought there were Hibs in the Championship.
Championship, yeah. We're in the Championship.
I think that might have put a lot of players that have gone, we didn't know, down in that league.
But when to be fair, maybe that's one of the things I was thinking, but when I came up and saw the facilities, I was like, wow. Like at Burnley, we didn't even have, they just came out of the Premier League. We didn't have showers at the training ground.
Wow.
So I was driving to the training ground, like, it's about 15 minutes, getting full of mud, boys getting in your car, ruining your car, driving back to the stadium. Just like, what's going on? So
did you came up to Hibs, no deciding whether you were definitely going to sign them?
No. I just came up to speak to them. They said, come and see.
Did Hibs pay for a flight in that?
Yeah. That's how they sell it to you though, because you see the facilities, mate. You're signing. Yeah. You're sorted. So
as soon as you walk in the training ground, did you think, fancy this?
Because to be fair, we're driving there and it's in the middle of nowhere. So I'm like, fucking hell, man. Like the things I've heard about Scotland, like all countryside and that, is coming true now. Yeah. This is going to be a shithole. And we turned in there and went down and I saw it and I was like, wow. I was like, right. Like that's for the first time I felt like, you know, I got that fire back again. I got that spark back. I know, just like before even speaking to him about money. I didn't care about money at that point because...
Made enough, didn't you?
Yeah, I'd fleeced a few clubs already, so it was fine, man.
How much you make of Dan Anderton on, Jay?
A lot, mate. I was smashing lads.
I can imagine.
Smashing.
Yeah.
But do you know what I was thinking now? He's probably betting on the first booking, weren't he? So there's a few of us that are mental.
So he's making money.
Yeah, he's making money. He's giving me £100. He's making $1,000, man.
So who was the manager at Stubbs?
Stubbs, yeah. Alan Stubbs was the manager. So
she good?
Yeah, he was good. He wasn't he wasn't a huge coach. He had John Doolan who do a lot of his coaching. Right. But again, Stubbs is a presence, isn't it? Everyone knows who he is.
Yeah.
He's kind of a big name, so
Hibs are quite before their time, innit? Like Graham Matthew picking players and speaking to them. That's kind of the road Celtic are trying to go down now, innit?
Yeah, the structure at Hibs is unbelievable. Yeah. Absolutely. And they've always had it because, I'm a nosy bastard. So I used to go and speak to George Craig, who was there at the time, who was head of football. I was like, why do you have this set up? And he said, well, if a manager's ever to leave, nothing will change at Hibs because basically a lot of the people are employed by Hibs. Whereas other teams, managers bring in 6 or 7 staff members, they leave and you're finished. Like, who takes over? Do you know what I mean? Like the under-10s manager or something. Yeah. So Hibs have got everything in place where that won't happen.
So with the manager, does he have a say in the signings?
He's a head coach, but he does have a say. But I think he'd be like, right, I want to hold a midfielder like this. And they'll give him 3 options. And then he'd be like, right, I want that one. So I was third pick.
And
sorry, here's one for you as well. So we're talking about director of football at Celtic. Graham Matthew was at Celtic. He was there when I was there.
Was he?
He's doing that job at Hibs now.
Yeah, he's doing it at Hibs, yeah.
There you go. Go and get him.
Try and get him.
Would you say he's
top, mate. He's top.
Is he the best, is
he? He worked with Kendo as well. They done the scouting at Celtic for a bit.
We said it the other day. I think you've certainly got to get guys that know the game inside out, Simon, instead of these guys that don't. But listen,
you could do that job.
Get a suit on.
See if he came to sign you for Celtic or not. It's a no-brainer, that.
Close the door, man. Close the door, man.
You'd rather sign for Dagger than Edinburgh or something.
Back to Leyton Orient with Big Tyrone, man.
Richard.
But Hibs at that time had a good teammate. Like, you probably wouldn't have known some of the players because obviously John McGinn wasn't the player he is now.
Yeah, didn't know half of them, mate, if I'm honest. I knew Liam Fontaine from playing down the road, so I spoke to him about how often the manager will let you go back and stuff, because obviously my family was still down there. But apart from that, I didn't know a lot of them. Like you say, John McGinn, Dylan McGeouch, like David Gray, Lou Stevens. So I met them all through being there, but I didn't know a lot about them.
Who stood out for you when you first went in?
During that first probably 6 months, Dylan McGeouch was the best. Yeah,
Good player,
the best. Yeah, unbelievable. But his body was just broken, kind of thing. Like just couldn't get a run of games. But such a good player.
Like tight situations.
Everything, he could do everything, right. And that's the thing. People would be like, "Oh, but he can't win the ball back." But he does. He just does it in a clever way.
Just nicks it,
yeah, when I go and smashing into people, he just nicks the ball away and then he's off with it. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people see that and be like, "Oh, well, he's not winning the ball back." Like, but he does. He's such a good player, man. Such a good player.
Man, definitely Dylan is like you said, very good player. McGinn's went and played at that extra level.
Why do you think that is? Well, you just said obviously you had the injuries and stuff. Do you think that is, or do you think there's something else?
No, but McGinn's also physically like a specimen. You know, like, Dylan doesn't have that. And if you come and watch them both, if you come and watch them both together, they'll both be very, very good players. But you'll take McGinn all day long because of his combative style, just the way he goes about the game. And you always look at Dylan thinking, you know, he's one tackle away from an injury because he just nicks it. Yeah, that's just the way he plays.
We went and seen McGinn last week, didn't we? Even his feet are strong, mate.
Everything about the guy.
His feet are so muscly.
Yeah, just like everything about him. I told him I'm coming on it today, and I was speaking to him about a story with him in his Scotland pants. But I'll tell you that in a bit.
Scotland pants?
Yeah.
Was he big in the show?
No. What? Where are you going with this, man? No, he's a fair side.
No, he's a fair side. See, when you came up, was promotion the target? Like, did Alan Stubbs say we need to get promoted this year?
He did, but the weird thing was that any fan I met was Scottish Cup. No one cared about promotion, which I didn't understand. I didn't know this history of not, winning the Scottish Cup for so long. So when fans were like, just win the Scottish Cup, I'm like, what about promotion? That can wait for next year. It's like, what? Thinking like, what? No other team in the world want to stay in the Championship but win the Scottish Cup or win their local cup. But yeah, for Alan Stubbs it was promotion. For the fans it was the Scottish Cup.
Did you get a flat in Edinburgh in it?
Yeah, I was in there for a little while and then I moved. I got a Rottweiler, so I couldn't.
Staffy, same as singing.
My Rott, he's a big boy, so I couldn't walk him. In the city centre, there was like all the parks now were too busy, so I had to move out of it. But yeah, I was in Edinburgh for the first bit.
You're trying to get a dog, aren't you?
I'm going to get a boxer.
Yeah?
Aye, got bonkers in it.
Bonkers,
Sorry, got bonkers a dog. But just on Mercedes matters, Rangers and Hearts were in that league that season. mean, I tell you one thing, that league was fierce.
That's a one-off though, isn't it? Having these sort of teams in
And
that
the
league,
matches, Simon, the matches were unbelievable that season. How enjoyable was that?
Unreal. Like to play against Rangers, and play at Ibrox and stuff was frightening because obviously Rangers, said the two teams I knew about, but their team was so good, man.
Was it?
So yeah, so good because we were like head and head with them for a bit, and then they just went into overdrive.
They popped it that year, didn't they?
Yeah.
And Hibs, but I'm sure, and I could be wrong here, did Hibs and Rangers have a wee bit of beef going on?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Scott Allen,
Didn't they?
that.
Scott Allen stuff.
Scott Allen, yeah, because he was meant to go there.
But even the players, it was not
Yeah,
that year,
it was.
wasn't it?
I think it's because I don't know. I think it kind of overspilled from what was happening in like the boardrooms and stuff onto the pitch, and then there was just no respect. Like it was just the games were crazy, man.
Who were you directly up against? Is it Halliday?
Halliday would have been playing, yeah.
You smash each other?
Did you go? Did you
mouthy,
argue each
Was he
other?
mouthy? Would
Yeah,
he
I
give you a
was so
bit?
mouthy,
How,
man.
what would he say? Come on, tell us.
So mouthy.
You'll pull him up for it.
To be fair, we all like it on the pitch and that, but he'd be like, "You're shit," like they're giving you all that, like proper mouthy. Now, to be fair, I love that as well. So I'm just like, yeah, not fair play to you, mate. You're probably right.
And then League Cup final.
That's brilliant, by the way.
No, but you've got to League Cup final, Ross County.
Yeah, got League Cup final, yeah. So I think we lost 1-0, like right at the end.
Yeah.
They scored. I remember them crossing the ball and Liam Fontaine's gone to stretch and it was 2-1, gone to direct it to like off the pitch and he directed it to their guy and he scored. But we battered in that game.
Yeah.
Going into that game, we were so confident we could beat them.
That game was kind of when the Hibs started, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's the first time I'd
were
heard
so
about
on top.
it.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's this Hibs bit? And then the boys explained it. I was like, fucking hell, man. So that was the first time I'd heard it. But I remember coming back to the stadium and like Leanne had sorted out for all the families and stuff to have a party at the top. So you saw all like the balloons and that as you were walking back to your car thinking, yeah, we have Hibs here.
So seeing that team, Marvin, you just there to sit and let like McGinn and McGeouch go
So
and play?
this is the first, see when I was down in England, I was like box to box. This is the first time I came here and just play holding midfield. So it was a completely new role to me. I'd never played that role before in my life.
Yeah.
So I was there, to let them two obviously go and play. But to be fair, the first game, I think it's Dumbarton away, when I signed for Hibs and you've all been to Dumbarton and I remember turning up and I'm not joking, I was flying home after that game and I got home and I said to my mum, I was like, I don't know if I can go back there. Because I thought all the stadiums were going to be like that. Because I'd seen the Hibs stadium buzzing, then I'm at Dumbarton away.
There's only one stand.
Yeah. And it was like a huge, fucking massive rock thing in the corner. I'm like, what is this?
I'm playing this Saturday. Fuck.
Oh, yeah. That's awful, isn't it?
Oh, man, you've killed us, man.
Honestly, I thought, wow, I'm back to like non-league kind of thing. Like, what is this?
Did you think, what the fuck have I done here?
Yeah, massively. Like, they sold me a dream here because this, no disrespect to Dumbarton fans, but it's a shithole. No, compared to Hibs, do you know what I mean? It's not great. So, yeah, it was hard, man. It was hard.
You played in that famous 2-2 draw. You loved that game, didn't you,
It's my
Paul?
favourite game, Simon.
Is it your favourite game?
Me and Big Kev watched it all the time. Hearts to each.
Yeah.
Is that one of your best games? You enjoyed playing in?
Most enjoyable.
Who were you up
game for
against
me.
in that game? Who was the fierce competitors?
It was June there at that point. I can't
June,
remember.
June was a good player,
He'd
actually. I
have
liked
been, I can't remember. Do you know what? Going into those games, I didn't care who I was up against. I knew I was going to get the better of them.
Love that.
It didn't matter.
Marv, see, Tynecastle, as much as it's a horrible place to play, how enjoyable was that though?
The atmosphere's unbelievable. Speaking about just the other day, unbelievable atmosphere. Because they're so close to the ground. Yeah. Like, it's honestly to the pitch rather.
Is that the
so
best
good.
you've played in? Like, for atmosphere? I
would say so. I genuinely think
Would
it's,
you?
it's up there. And talking about obviously having Celtic and Rangers there as well, but it's unreal. And I'm getting abuse from like 90% of them as well, but I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it. Do you know what I mean?
Newcastle is good, aren't it?
Lovely stadium.
They come for you, don't they?
Yeah.
At all angles, they come for
exactly.
you.
But it should be, innit?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want people being nice to you.
So you playing that, I wanted to ask you as well, it's not in the questions, but Kevin Thompson was there when you were there, wasn't he? Did he help you with that? Because he was a master at that sitting room. I played on him and he was brilliant at it.
So Tomo was, he was brilliant help, like obviously passing on his knowledge to me and whatever else. So I said, I've not done this before. So he was a huge help. I think he actually came on in it, or he started that game as well against Hearts.
He started, that's right, that's what I said.
Yeah. So Tomo was a huge help and obviously gone on to be like a really good coach now.
See, I remember a couple of years ago, I was out with James Keaton's for a Tony Max. And we James...
Wait,
I'm going to give you vouchers, huh?
No, wait, who paid for it?
James Keaton's. And we James Keaton's a brilliant wee boy, isn't he?
Oh, he's a lovely boy.
He's a lovely boy. He said at that time, I could see in his wee face, that he said that was the best team spirit he'd ever seen. Was it special that?
Yeah. Like honestly, you played in England, like going down into changing rooms, normally like there's cliques and stuff. You can't speak to everyone. I genuinely mean this. Going into that dressing room, you can speak to anyone. Didn't matter who was in there. You know, you never felt uneasy.
How does that happen? I mean, is that player? How does that be special bond, Simon? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I've never had it.
It's got to be luck. It has to be. Because honestly, that dressing room, everyone got on. And I still speak to all of those players now. Every single one of those boys I would have been in contact with in the last month.
Even James Keaton's?
Yeah, even Keats, man.
You didn't still speak to him, do you?
Yeah, still speak to him, mate.
Who was it? Was it a certain guy that would bring everyone together, or did it just happen?
Anyone could. You had like Martin Boyle, he's off his rocker.
Good
Jason
guy,
Cummings, McGinn at times. Everyone was funny within their own right, but not everyone was the same. I think that's why it worked. You had like some boys who were a bit more serious, and you had the boys you had to rein in at times. But the dynamics of the dressing room just worked, man.
Just on Cummings, are you any stories for us about him that you can tell?
No, probably not that I can tell, man. I'll tell you off camera.
Right.
Cummings, yeah.
He's a great lad, though, isn't he?
Great guy. You know, it's probably time he grows up now, though. But he is a brilliant guy. You know, you want the best for him at all times, but he's just a big kid, man.
Yeah.
Just a big kid.
Good. Stokes said we've had loads of stories on here about his timekeeping. Was he the same at Hibs? Unbelievable.
Stokes used to get away with murder. The amount of times his boiler broke and made him late was unreal. Like, again, Stokes is one of them people, like, you know, I heard stories about him before him coming, and I get on with him so well now. Like, when you're around him, he's such a great guy. When he's away from football, you can't control him.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And there's no doubt in his ability or anything else like that. But yeah, Stokes, he was late all the time, man. All the time. And he just couldn't help himself.
And would managers just put up with it?
Yeah, like under Stubbs at times, like I think he went through like a spell as well. He didn't score for ages, and I was like, "This guy's lost his powers, and he's late. How's he still starting?" Do you know what I mean?
I know, but see if you're playing shit, you're getting time every day.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But he was coming late a couple of times. I'm not joking. We were training, like physically training, and Stokesy's walking in. Like, I'm like, Stokesy, what are you doing? Like, why are you so late? Oh, whack! Like my boiler broke.
Whack.
Yeah, whack, mate.
Whack,
Like,
loved that.
He loves that whack part.
And what was it? Look, with Livingston this season, did they just know? Fancy at the pitch.
Couldn't train on
Martindale's
the
farts.
Martindale's farts.
So they said they were going to sign him, and I was like, listen, ability-wise, there's no problem with Stokesy at all. You know, I'll tell the same thing to him, but how long you'll stay around for, I don't know. And he just struggled. Yeah, he struggled with the pitch. Couldn't get fit. It'd been a while since he played at any sort of level, and he just couldn't get it back.
See, just on Cummings, obviously, I know you are an angry man when you're playing. What did you think when he dinked that penalty?
Disbelief, if I'm honest. Like it's one of those that as soon as you ran up to it, you're like, this guy's gonna do something stupid.
Did you really?
Yeah,
You actually just had that
You
feeling?
knew, yeah, he could do something stupid, man.
That's brilliant.
And when he dinked it, it was probably a good 6 or 7 yards from the goal, and it was already over. So it's just, and it's rising. I'm like, what's he done here? Like, and it just goes flying, and he's like, just does that with his hair. Like, Cummings, man, like, what the hell?
Did anybody slaughter him?
Yeah, he went in, the boys went through him, man. I just kind of left him.
What, in the dressing room after it?
Yeah, no, that was in the first half, wasn't it?
half,
Half time, yeah. Boys went through him. But I just left him because I was just thinking, it's not going to help now. We're probably going to need him. Do you know what I mean? His head hadn't gone, he didn't care. He hadn't cared. He's like, well, none of you had the balls to take the penalty. So man. So you got to miss the penalty and saying that.
So see, if you weren't going through him, who would be the other ones in the team that would...
Like Fonts or like David Graves,
David Gray could be an angry man.
Yeah. Even Louis Stevenson was pissed off, man. And he's
Louis Stevenson was pissed off?
He's just a puppy that says nothing normally, and he was pissed off, man. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the boys are raging, but come here, to be fair, there is a story. We went away to, this was before the final, the Ross County final.
Right.
We got taken to Marbella under Stubbs. So it was a week-long train. I don't know why we didn't have a game. It was a week-long train anyway before it. So on one of the days, Stubbs was like, right, we can go for some food, have a few drinks and whatever else. So we're like, all right, cool. And I'm looking around and you're seeing Martin Boyle, James Keaton, Cummings, and you're letting these boys have a drink. Stokesy. I'm like, this is going to go fucking wrong. Chris Dagnall. So we're out having our food and that. There's a man like playing a guitar and that as he's walking through. Some of the boys have ordered red wine with their dinner. And that table, it was actually Keats, Cummings, Boyle, Stokesy, and somebody else. So you've turned around and they've ordered shots. So like, nah, what's going on?
Shots with dinner, I love that.
I mean, that's a wild table, that.
Yeah, but it's not like a shot each. They've got a tray of shots in the middle of their table. So I'm like, nah, that's fucked. That's going to go left. And the manager and that are down the front. So we were at the back as players. But there's also other people in the restaurant. So anyway, we were in there for like probably a good 2 hours. And these boys are ordering trays of shots. So they're on like 4 or 5 trays in. So we had to walk back to the coach. It's probably about a 5-minute walk. And that table have turned on each other, mate. They're all arguing, going mental. I heard Cummings saying, oh, like, blah, blah, your mum this, your mum that. And we're like, boys, chill out. Like, the public are around us as well. Like, just chill out. So they're arguing. We get on the coach and 2 of them are still arguing, Cummings and another one. So I'm sitting down and there's like probably like 4 rows of seats between them. And they're both up now, arguing each other. I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to knock you out. So like, boys, chill out. So they started going towards each other and they pushed each other in the face where they're just both pissed and both gone back a bit. So I've stood up and grabbed this boy and so my back's to them and Cummings throwing a punch and punched me in the face. So like, what's actually happened here?
Was it a good punch now?
Nah, terrible. Terrible. Because I'm not even expecting it. I'm facing the wrong way and I grabbed the guy and he's punched me in the face. So I'm like, come on, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, oh, let go of him, or you can have some as well. And I'm holding the guy, I'm turning around, I'm like, come on, mate. Like, come on, just go and like chill out. And then Paul Hanlon's got up and pinned Jace to the seat and said, like, enough of it. And they're arguing. Stubbs has finally got up and said, like, boys, that's enough. So we've got back to the hotel and we're starting to walk off. So they said, right, Cummings, you go off first and then the rest of us will follow. He's like, oh, do you know what? Fuck you. Good luck in the final. Like, this is leading up to the final. So obviously he's a star boy at this time. So he's like, good luck in the final, basically, without me. He's got off. He's on the phone to his agent. Book me a flight. So Keats has got off after him. They've all walked off. I've taken every boy back. We've gone back to our rooms and I'm sharing with Chris Dagnall. So like, Dags, that was crazy, wasn't it? Dags like, yeah. So I'm laying in the bed and so Dags now and Stokesy calls Dags. So I'm like, what the fuck's going on there? He's like, Stokesy's calling me. I was like, right, pick up. Stokes like, do you want to go out to Dags? This is about 10:30, 11 at night. The manager said, on no uncertain terms, do not go out. And we're in the middle of nowhere in Marbella, by the way. How they found us hotel, I don't know. So you're a taxi ride away. So Dags is like, yeah, fuck it. Got up, put his clothes on. So him and Stokesy have gone to go out. The reception's probably a couple minute walk. So they've gone anyway. I've stayed in bed. I said, Dags, take your key because I'm going to sleep. About 5 minutes later, I hear a knock at the door. So I'm like, Dags, where's your key? I gave you a key. He's like, oh, mate, like, I don't know. I've lost it. 5 minutes later, by the way, open the door, fire extinguisher, them 2 wankers, like absolutely sprayed me, mate. And because it was like a powder thing. So like my skin started itching straight away. I'm like, what is that? What have you sprayed on me? The room's just like fucked, mate. Absolutely gone. And them 2 ran off like laughing to go into town or whatever. And I remember the next day, like the cleaners have obviously gone in. The room's finished, by the way. All our clothes are fucked. And they've said to them, like, what's going on here? And they got a massive fine to be fair. I had to pay for the room, yeah. The room was ruined. Like, I had to repaint the room, like, everything was completely done.
No, see, with
that spirit to a good, I like that.
Brilliant.
It
was me that sprayed that. I liked it for someone else.
Did you need to sometimes put a wee in around Cummings and Keatings and guys like that?
Yeah.
If they went a bit too far? Or not too far, I don't mean it that way.
Yeah.
But see, when you're a bit wild or you're a bit, it's always going to be a senior player almost.
Yeah. Cummings more than Keats. Like, Cummings like, Jace, calm down. And he would instantly. Yeah. He would know, like, it wasn't one of them he would, like, push against you, other than when he punched me in the face.
But do you know what I like about that, Marv, is there'll be certain senior players, when they see a young guy who's been like that, who'll go against him and almost go to the manager and stuff and sort of go behind his back.
Instead of trying to help him.
You
would definitely try and help him, because you couldn't be, like, hard on them all the time, because Cummings doesn't react to that. And nor does Keats, to be fair. Like, do you know what I mean? You have to say to them, like, lads, like, just chill out. And they always would. They're great boys.
Right, mate, when we talking about the burger and chips, there's a guy that liked the burger and chips, Conrad Logan.
Big Conrad, mate.
Was it a big
He was a hero of, do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Conrad.
Especially in that game.
Wow.
Was that his first game?
Yeah,
I
his first game.
Thinking, who the fuck?
First game, because we had the goalies were injured. So I knew him from England, but he had like a bad ACL injury. So he used to be thin.
Right.
And then they I was signing Conrad Logan. I was like, how are we getting him? Because he's decent. And he came up and I realised why we were getting him, because he was massive.
Yeah.
So the boys were like, obviously had like Cummings and that, and they're like, who's that fat guy? I'm like, they said, Marv, you said he was good. I was like, nah, he used to be, but he was out of shaper, but he still had it.
Yeah,
class,
mate,
man.
some of his saves were unbelievable.
Class, like unbelievable. Like,
is he a legend, the guy?
Yeah. Great guy. That everyone loves him as well, like around his, but yeah, really, really good guy. And Leicester kept him around for years, even though he was like that sort of state. So it shows you how good he actually was.
I always love fat goalies.
Do you remember his performance in that game?
Dundee United, wasn't it?
I think it's starting to come back to me now, Simon.
And then, was it penalty saved?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And then you win that semi-final. Like, was that when you were aware of the significance of Hibs not winning it for so long?
Yeah, that's when like a lot more pressure was then put on, because obviously at the start of me coming up here, people got Scottish Cup, but then when you get that far, then the pressure's on you, like to you need to go and win this now. And obviously you're playing Rangers and you're thinking, I mean, they've like pumped us in the league. The only good thing about playing Rangers is that we knew we were in the Championship playoffs. They had 4 weeks off because they won the league.
That's
So
right.
because the Scottish Cup was so much further along, you know, they had 4 weeks where they
That's not what you
doing
want,
nothing.
is it? 4 week
Nah,
break?
exactly.
No, no way.
And I think that was the equaliser, if I'm honest. If we'd have played them like a week after the season finished for both of us, it would have been a lot more difficult game. But yeah.
Because I used to hate that down south. You'd get through to the playoff final and you wouldn't play for like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Boys were going to Marbella and all that, eh?
Yeah, in between.
The playoff final, man.
That's horrendous, isn't it?
Strange, isn't it? Huh?
It's crazy.
So, because you were in the playoffs?
Yeah, we were in the playoffs. So we had, I think we played Full Cup. Full Cup knocked us out actually. So because we were in that, obviously the cup final got pushed back.
Right.
So that's why it was so far ahead. But they were obviously fuming with it because they had finished their league. But I think they went away.
Yeah.
And then they ended up coming back to play Tottenham in a friendly and whatever else. But it's not the same, is it?
Nah.
Not the same.
See, and I've got a great memory. See, on the final, was it true you and Henderson get left out the starting squad?
Yeah.
Lineup, sorry.
Lineup, yeah. So in our final playoff game, which was just before the final, Dylan actually got injured away to Falkirk.
Right.
He came off injured. And I think I played in every other round of the cup. So we got to the final. And I kind of knew I wasn't going to play, but I say I kind of knew. You always have a doubt that, you know, you're not one of the main starters, so you might not play. And obviously with those centre midfielders that we had at the time. So I remember the Stubbs pulled Dylan at the hotel before we were leaving and he was speaking to him. I assume saying, are you fit to play? You're okay to play? So he spoke to Dylan. I thought then he would at least speak to me and say, this is where I'm going or that way, which honestly, I'm fine with that. You know, just say, Marv, I'm going with Dylan. Dylan's a fantastic player, offers this, whatever, that's absolutely fine. Let's go and win the final. The thing that pissed me off, we got there, I didn't have any idea what was going on. I thought I was playing, I was in the shape and stuff leading up to it, and then he named the team and I wasn't playing. And I'll be honest with you, for that 30 seconds, I had to go to the toilet because I was thinking, fuck
Calm
man.
yourself down.
Yeah, I was like,
I could
wow,
go,
yeah, it could go back to the 18-year-old Marvin here and nobody wants to see that, man. So yeah, my head was gone.
Right.
Absolutely. But it's just a bit of respect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just pull me in and say that. But Stubbs didn't like that confrontation. They didn't like, that's the side of football management he didn't like.
But that's getting yourself even more confrontation when you do stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's a cup final, so
Yeah.
it's the end of the season. I'm not going to see him again
See
for
him
another,
again after.
you know what I mean, 6 weeks because there's pre-season coming up next. So yeah, that was frustrating, but you know, that's the respect I have for my teammates in the club. If that was Leyton Orient, I'd have went mental because I was just fucking, the place was crazy, but I wanted the team to do well. I wanted the boys to, I wanted to win it. So, you know, I went to the toilet, calmed myself down, and came back.
It's even watching the game, you're still fuming on the bench. Huh?
No. That went, yeah, that 30 seconds went, yeah. So even the warm-up and stuff, I was fine. Completely went. And as I said, that's my love for my teammates in the club at the time.
Yeah.
And which your memories on the games when you were watching it for the sidelines? Can you remember?
I remember watching it thinking, like, they started quite well, but then I think we broke away twice and Stokes, he scored on like almost like 2 breakaways, I think, or was involved in 2 of the goals. So I was thinking, fucking, I might have a chance here. And then when it was getting like further on, I think Liam Fontaine came off injured and we made a change. And I remember having a corner right at the end and I was thinking, like, David always spoke about like how he was going to attack the ball like off every corner. And I can't remember who was at the front, but someone quite small was at the front for them in the space. And obviously Hendo was on the corner and I thought, I was like, I didn't think he was going to score. I think he's going to get some sort of contact here and it might drop to someone who might score. But it was crazy, man. See, when it left Hendo's boot, and I don't know how the other players feel, but it's almost like you saw what happened before it happened. I swear to you.
Did you?
I swear to you. Sitting there, I promise you, you saw the ball hit the net before the ball hit the net, before anyone headed it. And I remembered it, you know, I didn't even know it was David Gray who headed it. I rember someone headed it and it went in. And it was crazy, like deja vu, mate. I swear to God.
Who were you sitting next on the bench?
I think Fonts came off, so I was next to Fonts, and then Boiler, I think I was quite close to me as well. But it was crazy, man. See that noise, like, it was almost like from silence to eruption, man.
Yeah.
It was crazy, like fucking people going mental, like we're going crazy on the side, like unbelievable.
Was that 90 minutes?
Like 92 minutes.
92 minutes.
That was it, done.
My heart is broken.
Sorrow.
That song, man.
What a day that
Brilliant,
was.
and see when that got played after. Do you know what? There was one that was even better. I think it was maybe the Hearts game.
Yeah.
Remember the video went viral?
Fucking
He's
hell,
walking
man.
around after the game, weren't they? And they were singing
Goosebumps.
it.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
Goosebumps.
Right, yeah. Oh, because I didn't know about that song either. I had no idea. And that first time when I heard it, wow. Like I can't explain, because fans always talk about them singing it on the outside and whatever else. Being on the pitch, mate, I promise you, no better feeling.
No.
That's the best feeling I've had as a footballer.
And
like,
a footballer after that game.
Yeah, hearing that. Even like, you know, scoring down in England or scoring up here, whatever. Nowhere near hearing that song after the game, being on that pitch.
And while the cheapest sunshine only, I'll thank you. We actually look a bit like the Proclaimers.
I do, you don't.
No, I do, yeah.
Big man, was the partying wild for days after it?
Oh man, crazy. So we had to go meet like the men, have the open top bus parade and whatever the next day, but obviously we're just on the booze then. Boys are steaming. And it's probably, it was the next day, so some of the fans were in, and like McGinn had a party around his few of the boys. Obviously, I went home because I'm a lightweight, man. So I was like, listen, I'm done. Yeah, I was like, I'm out of it.
Mate,
these boys,
you had somebody, but there's nothing to do with being a lightweight.
these boys are steaming. So
I just said I'm going down the road.
No. My missus was at home.
Oh, was she?
Yeah,
Right,
I had
okay.
a missus at the time. So. You know,
I can't me grin on him. Fantastic.
These boys are all walking in like all over the place, like wobbling about, man. Like David Gray's like completely gone, and it was unreal. But about 3 days later, we were celebrating for a good week. 3 days later, I got a call saying Martin Boyle's like here. No, Martin called me, sorry, and he's like, Marvin, I need to come and get me. He was in town. So I was like, right, I'll drive and come and get you. Obviously, I was off it by this point, and I drove into town and then someone called me from his phone saying, Martin Boyle's here, you need to come and get him. I was like, where? And I was like, he's on George Street. So I'm driving, and that was it, they had gone. So I'm driving up and down George Street. I'm like, fucking, where is this guy? I cannot see him. Must have did it like 3 or 4 times. And I went past like a doorway, and there's just a body on the floor.
Lying in the door.
I swear, like, and I was like, that must be him. It has to be him. So I get out, and it's Boiler Man. He's stolen somebody's like sunglasses. He's got his tie like around his head, and he's just steaming. So I've like lifted him up, put him in the car, and got him home.
But he loves it, doesn't he? I was at Dundee with Boy.
Yeah.
Is it Jaeger? He just drinks Jaeger.
Yeah,
He
Jaeger's
absolutely
straight, mate.
smashes the
Yeah,
Jaegers.
yeah.
Is he mental?
Good lad.
Yeah, very good lad. Yeah,
He's a funny boy.
Class.
Mate, again for Boiler, man, he wasn't even getting a game at Dundee, and Dundee switched with Alex Harris. And now he's
so now look at
fine.
him. But even then, it was Lennon who came in and changed Boiler.
Yeah.
Changed him completely, man.
Suits him though, because Lenny loves wingers.
Yeah, he
doesn't
loves
James,
pacer and like.
We never talked about the scenes after the game.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, everyone on the pitch. Yeah.
Jumped out.
So we all ran onto the pitch, and then suddenly you're just fucking surrounded, man, and people like throwing punches, and like this half are like celebrating, and that half are coming, and people are fighting, and the police horses are on. Yeah, it was crazy, absolutely crazy. But listen, no one wants to see those scenes, but you understand it. It'd been so long. It was brilliant, like people lifting you up, and
Was any players winch anybody on the pitch? No? Any birds?
Golfing.
That'd been amazing, man.
Not that I know of, man.
That'd have been amazing, man.
So see, when you were out for a week, was it just pubs or flats?
Flats,
Ever go back anywhere?
pubs,
Go back to Fancies or that?
No, McGinn's got ruined, man.
What, McGinn's flat?
Yeah, McGinn and McGeouch, they shared a flat.
Oh, did they, right?
Constantly in there.
Absolutely zero damage getting done in that flat later. That's a waste of a flat later, man. There's zero getting done there. What, would all the boys just stay over there for like a week?
Yeah, just stayed there, like literally go from there into town. Like McGinn's was the play, even during the season. That's why he came in the Scotland pants, because boys were wearing his boxers. He didn't have enough boxers.
So wait, what was the story of the Scotland
Yeah,
pants?
so I remember they came in one day, and I sit opposite them, so I'll be like in the corner, and Dylan was doing that to me about looking at McGinn. I was like, what, like Dylan? But he couldn't talk because McGinn was right next to him, and he's doing that. So I remember McGinn was getting unchanged, but he took off his bottoms and his boxers in one swoop.
Right?
Yeah, so I was like, right, he's clearly hiding something here, but I couldn't look at that point. So when we came back in after showering and whatever else, Dylan's doing the same thing to me. So McGinn's gone to pull up his bottoms and his boxers together, but he's put his leg in his boxers, but it's came out of his bottoms.
Yeah.
And I've seen like the Scotland like crest on his pants. So I've actually got a picture on my phone somewhere. I have to find it. And I was like, McGinn! And instantly he just went red. He knew.
Yeah.
I was like, why have you got Scotland pants on? Because obviously when you go to international duty, I didn't know. They give you pants and boxers. So I was like, why have you got them on? He's like, well, I lent the other boys my boxers, so these are the only ones I had left. I was like, fucking hell, man. Like, you can't be wearing them, but...
Mate, they brothers are the same, because Paul used to wear John's gear into Dundee as well. That's strange with the Clays, eh? And he had his mum's pants on one day as well. Alan Stubbs, goes, Slaney.
Oh, you tipped it. Unbelievable.
Was that a massive surprise?
Yeah, because obviously, winning the Scottish Cup, but I still think the club are disappointed in not getting promoted. I think, at that point, financially, if we didn't win the Scottish Cup, the Hibs were in real trouble, in massive trouble financially. So, promotion had to happen next season. I think, he had the opportunity to go to Rotherham, which was down the road, obviously in the Championship, and he probably thought it was right for him, and the club probably thought, you won a Scottish Cup, can't achieve much more, can you? So it's probably the right time for both.
And then
your dad comes in.
Then the main man.
Yeah, class.
As I always say, the biggest order in the game. I know me as a player, if I was in a summer holiday, Speedos on Simon, you know what I mean? With the dad.
With the pubes hanging at the side.
Pubes hanging out, like grabbing each other. And then in the pit, and I hear Lennon's coming, holidays round. And no, and that's, please don't take that as in Lennon, but he was so scary.
Yeah. He had a presence, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had the presence to kind of like...
And what did you think when you heard that?
Well, when
he was getting it?
Yeah, when I knew he was coming, so obviously it was during the summer, and then the first part I knew about him was he took Jason Cummings he was doing the Euros somewhere. I want to say it was in France, I can't remember. But he took Cummings there anyway because he wanted to keep him. So Cummings was getting hammered with like Lennon, Shearer, like all the pundits and that. So class. So then Cummings told me that story. I was like, this guy seems decent. But one of my mates played with him at Bolton. He said, listen, he's just honest as day as long, straight down the line, whatever else. But he came in, did his first kind of talk to us, and he said, I'm getting promoted. So he said, I'm getting promoted as Neil Lennon, Hibs are getting promoted. He said, some of you lot will fall by the wayside because you won't want to do things the way I want to do it. One thing I promise you is this team will be in the Premier League, with or without you lot. So he said, I'll be a Premier League manager next season. So he said, now we're going to go to work. That was it. This is how short it was. Now we're going to go to work. The ones of you think you can do it, come with me. The ones who don't think they can do it, get your agent to call me and get you gone.
Brilliant.
That was it, mate.
Wow.
That was it.
Did he have like a personal chat with you, Marv, or was it?
No, just like he would pull you out of training and whatever else. But my personal chat came with him probably like 6 weeks into it. So I think he's trying to work out who was who. Let's be honest, the fuck Marvin Bartley is. You know what I mean? He's been at like massive clubs. He's working at Celtic and at Bolton. So, after a while, he kind of realised the dynamics of the changing rooms, and he would speak to like the older boys.
When do you realise how demanding he is? First training session?
Yeah, first one.
Just on boys
on you. Yeah. First one, like there was no respite. First one.
See, that's how I remember him.
Wanted more. Yeah, constantly. But like you said, the old school can deal with that. The new school can't, and that ended up being, what happened at the end. But for me, he was brilliant. I could always deal with the way he spoke to me because it was never personal. I never take things personally. If you say something to me on a football pitch, as a coach or a manager, it's professional. It's a job, isn't it? So I take that, but the younger boys and the new generation, they can't take it. And I understand it because some people think it's not right.
I can actually remember it, and it came out in the papers a couple of times that Lennon went on these mental rants after some games you had lost, but it was almost you had went on a good run and it maybe been one loss. How would when it comes to the Monday and anything, how would the boys respond to that? I know you're saying the younger ones, but see, in training or that, would they kind of be like switching off for him a wee bit? Or
yeah, after a while, because the difficulty is he was a perfectionist and we weren't perfect as players. I think one time he described us as odds and sods. Like he said, Celtic I had the Harrods of players and now got the odds and sods basically. Yeah. But yeah, like some boys couldn't deal with it. And after a while, you start to think to yourself, you start to use the changing room.
Yeah.
And I think the turning point was we played Hearts away and we lost. I remember Louis Stevenson kept falling over. Everyone knows who he is. He's like one of the most honest professionals ever. Yeah. And Lennon kept saying to him, like, we're unprofessional as a group, and you're unprofessional. And then it got to a point where we were like, come on, he's one of the most professional guys here. You can't keep saying that, he's unprofessional. And I think that was the beginning of the end because he started talking about budgets and talking about next season and almost talking about he might not be there next season. Right. Obviously, a club like the size of Hibs aren't really going to put up with that, and that was the beginning of the end for him.
But see, at one point he did have you playing some great football. Eh?
Yeah, fantastic. But we came up and we were like punching above our weight, so to speak. We were doing so well. We were I think we were like looking at like maybe third or even second for a point, and obviously we began to tail away. And then losing to Hearts was the one that kind of meant that we couldn't catch the team in third place, but. I think sometimes you have to like look at things and evaluate things and say, we've had a good season, let's kick on next season. But he couldn't get that into his mind. He wanted to win. Yeah, he wanted to win, but there's, not all players can deal with it, and it just made things really, really hard.
Was there certain players that reacted bad to him sometimes, and if he was screaming at the players, would certain guys be arguing back? Yeah. Some boys would argue back. Some boys you could see them go into their shell, which was, either of them weren't good because you're losing that player for that period of time. But
sometimes I think he used to do things on purpose because he wanted the reaction out of you. Yeah. But sometimes it was a good reaction. Like if you shout at me, I'll go and try and prove him wrong. But other people might be in the sense of, well, he's just on me now. My confidence is gone. And we tried to explain that to him at some time, and he did take it on board. But a few times, a few of the older boys, he went a bit too hard on. And when I say a bit too hard, I think it just went from kind of professional to it felt personal, and boys bit back. And as a change room, we were very much together. So
because I was surprised how well Boyley done under, because knowing Boyley, I didn't think Boyley would be able to.
They used to argue all the time.
Did they?
But Lennon used to love him. So he would call him whatever, everything under the sun on the training pitch, and put his arm around him by the time they were walking in. So they had that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
I remember once we were doing shape and he said to Boyley to do something, and Boyley was under his breath shut up. Right? And I swear to you, Lennon had the hearing of a dog. He was so far away. I was in between both of them. I didn't hear it. And Lennon said, "What did you say?" And I was like, "What did who say?" And Boyley was like, "What?" And I was like, "What did you say?" So I didn't say anything. He said, "Yes, you did. Effing get inside." Boyley was like, "No." Kept trying to send him inside. I was like, "No, I'm not going inside." I don't know if he went inside in the end, but Lennon went mental, went berserk at him, and I pulled him in the end and said, "Don't you ever speak to me like that again." But how he
did you argue with him a lot?
I wouldn't say we argued, but it was weird. It was more of a sense that I would try and protect the ones who wouldn't talk. So at times I'd say Gaffer, come on. And then he would turn on me. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I made mistakes in games and he'd go through me, but I didn't mind that. Yeah. But at times, I think after the Hearts game, I did the press and we hadn't seen Neil for maybe 3 or 4 days because I think we had a couple of days off and then we had the press and he wasn't at training. And they said to me, "Where is he?" And I was like, "Well, I haven't seen him. We haven't seen him since the game." And he didn't respond too well to that. So when he came in, he was like, he pulled me in and said, "How dare you tell the press that you haven't seen me?" I said, "Well, I haven't." He said, "Well, where were you on?" I think it was this was the Friday. He said, "Where were you on Wednesday?" And I was like, "Well, I was off. We were all off." He said, "Exactly, but I was in." I said, "Yeah, but I still didn't see you." Yeah. So they've asked me the last time I've seen you, but he was going through me. But in the end, after that, he kind of understood my point, and then we just kind of left it.
How was the promotion party for the championship?
Oh man, it was weird because we obviously got promoted, and the final day we played St Mirren, and the St Mirren assistant manager said something to our assistant manager earlier on in the season.
Who was that? Gary Parker?
Yeah, he might have said something to him like you look like you need a good wash or something like that to our assistant, right? So
something used to wash him.
So they hated St Mirren. So I remember we drew the game, and I think St Mirren managed to stay up or something like that. And
that's right. They stayed up the last day.
Yeah. Lennon said to us in there "Look at you, you couldn't even beat St Mirren. Go and get your promotion pie." And I can't remember if it was that game or the one before. He said to McGinn, "You think you're a £2 million player? You're not even the best McGinn in your house," or something like that. And he said that to Boyley as well. "Your missus is better than you," giving it all that. She plays as well. But he was raging. I'd never, we were going out to get the trophy. Go and get your trophy. Go and get your trophy. I'm not effing going out. I swear, raging. Because he was a winner. He wanted to win.
I think Hibs needed that mentality.
He wanted to win.
I think, honestly, the highest respect for him, and I love the way he is, but I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I think when we had been successful at what we were trying to achieve, I think I could understand the disappointment. Yeah. But he did come out in the end, and we lifted him up, and a few of the boys wanted to drop him because he had shouted at us just before. But it was cool.
And then the first year back, it was 4th behind Aberdeen and Rangers.
Yeah,
that's a successful season for your first season back, isn't it?
No, exactly. But I think that's the season where he was raging in the beginning. The end, we played Hearts towards the end of that season, and they beat us, and he was fuming because it was on for us to finish 3rd. I think we began to maybe get a bit nervous and messed it up a little bit. And it was our first season back.
He's played, I remember it, some of the games you played with Celtic were brilliant. McGinn and Brown, the battles they two had.
We should just go and attack them though. Lennon had you in that mindset of go and attack them. If you go and sit behind the ball, they're going to punish you. Go and attack them and make them defend. I think we drew with them a couple of times that season. I think 2-2. McGinn scored at Celtic Park against them. Yeah. I remember I got an assist because it ricocheted off me and he took it. My mates were in WhatsApp after, "You got an assist?" I'm like, "Yeah, boys, I crossed it in and whatever." Then they saw it and they're like, "What the fuck is that?"
Was that his thing? You always attack, yeah?
Attack them. Show them no respect. Show them enough respect that they're good players, but attack them. We're not going to defend against them. Why are we going to defend against them? We're going to get beat if we defend.
That's my problem now, mate. And I say it in the podcast every week with certain teams in Scotland, they don't believe in themselves. Whereas Neil Lennon certainly did. Do you know what I mean? Would he? Because when I was at, it was more. He was always there, the presence, but he never really coached.
No,
was he similar to him?
Same, yeah. Was he? Yeah, Gary Parker's take a lot of coaching, and they had Granty, who they promoted from the youth team. He would do a lot of the coaching as well. But to be fair, Gary Parker's assistant wasn't much of a big coach anyway. Mm-hmm. So without Granty, they'd have been in trouble, I think,
Yeah,
on the coaching,
coaching
front.
part.
But he's a motivator. You know, some of the stuff he used to do.
Because you beat Rodgers' team as well, didn't you?
Yeah. But
Did you?
he was unreal, man. Like, honestly, his motivation was frightening.
Yeah.
Like, I remember before, like, we played Hearts, and we would probably 5 minutes before kickoff, and he's like, take your shirts off. So he's like, what the fuck, man? I just got changed in that. A couple of boys done their hair, and like, so take your shirt off. And he's like, turn your shirt over, and like, with the badge facing you. So we're like, okay, cool, what's going on? And he's like, look at the badge. And he's like, know what that means to the people out there, but not only the people out there, people watching on TV and the people in Edinburgh. So go and win this game for them. And he's like, if you can't win the game for them, he said, think about your families. Like, go and win the game for your families, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. He's like, turn your shirt over. So obviously on the back of mine is Bartley. He said, there's your family name. He said, like, so for every time you feel like you're getting tired, remember what your family are going to be like at home watching you.
Wow.
And he said, if you can't win it for all those people and that's not motivating you, to go and look in the mirror and win it for that person that you see and reflect in your reflection.
Wow.
And
That's
honest
really
to
good.
God, I was ready, mate. I was ready for war. They could have as many players as they wanted that day.
Yeah.
We were ready for war, man.
What would you have thought when you looked at the slaying on the
I thought you should call it up with my face in the mirror there.
So obviously, well publicised how it ended. Was it him and Kimberry that had a disagreement?
Yeah, so I think it got to a point where, you know, we spoke about earlier, older players dealing with things, and Flo, not the only one, but struggled with it. And Flo's a very talented player, and the club knew that. And they just were at loggerheads constantly. You know, I think Gary Parker came out and said something about Flo and saying we need more from him, and basically putting it all on him in the press. And it's got to a point there where I think it was either Flo or the manager. You know, our form wasn't the greatest. You know, we weren't doing very, very well in the league. So, you know, I think the club and Neil decided to go to separate ways.
Was there a bad atmosphere at the place at that time?
Yeah. There was. I remember we had a meeting, and Neil was very passionate, you know, and probably the way he would speak and, you know, how he projects his voice wouldn't be accepted within an office environment. And I remember someone had overheard a meeting we were having, and the funny thing, well, I say the funny thing is, for a Neil Lennon, you know, meeting, it was a 4 out of 10 in terms of how crazy it can go. Right. I was going to go a lot crazier than that. But I think just hearing these things and everything that was happening and us not doing well, and I think in a meeting he was saying, like, I remember I made a mistake, it was against Motherwell, and like, boys were making mistakes and he was hammering them. And you know, when it's coming to your one, I was thinking, nah, please, analyst, please have saved me and not put mine in there. Yeah. And the ball comes to me, and like, I could have passed to 9 other green shirts and I gave it to their player. And he's gone, and you big, I'm getting rid of you, I'm going to replace you. And I was like, I was in that team by then. I was like, do you know what? Do it, because I don't play anyway. Yeah. I said, do what you want, man. I've given up. But yeah, that meeting had gone through a lot of us, and it got overheard, and that was kind of the end for him.
But it's like this season, I don't think he had that side.
I don't think you can. I think when you go, no disrespect to us at Hibs, but I think when you go to a bigger team with boys on bigger money, you can't have that mindset or that attitude towards stuff. Because boys will just be like, well, I don't care. And I'll sit on my money and I won't play. Yeah. You're going to replace me? No, you're not, because I'm worth £5 million. Yeah. So you're not going to replace me. And I think that's what the trouble he had at Bolton. There was some big players in there on big money. And, you know, the way he tried to approach it didn't work. It
was like the Canny, wasn't it? Like, we had to put up with, because like, man, because Hibs are on $2,000. Swindon. Canny won it when he went to Sunderland, mate. Sunderland boys was like, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
I'll just sit in there playing. I'll fuck you off, and you'll be out here before I am.
Yeah, exactly. That's the attitude that boys have.
Definitely. And then, so see, at that time, after all the ball and shouting, was that a mouse that you needed?
Can't believe the mouse came in.
He calls Paul Heckenbottom the mouse.
You know how good he was?
Was he brilliant? Was a manager?
As a coach, Scotty Allen told us that, mate.
Did he?
Listen.
You know, listening?
Was that
there? Unbelievable.
As a coach, yeah.
Unbelievable. Like, the closest thing to Eddie Howe I've seen. Do you know what? I'll tell you something. Bournemouth, remember, they called me when he was at Hibs, and if Eddie would have gone around that sort of time, he was on the short list of 4 people that they would have wanted to replace him.
Wow.
Well, that's how crazy
football is. So Marv, talk us through that, like, similar Eddie, analysis.
Yeah, analysis, like structuring the way you play. Training was fantastic. Everything was set up to how you wanted the team to play. Like, no stone was left unturned. He was unbelievable. And I didn't start a game under him. I've got no reason to say he was good. I didn't start a single game under Heckenbottom. He was so good.
Why was that?
So when he came in, I was suspended for the game. He played Inverness in the Cup, and that was the game he watched before taking over. And I think we won the game and played quite well. So he kind of stuck with, say, 9 out of that 11 consistently throughout the rest of the season. And the reason I think it went wrong for Heckenbottom, I still speak to him now, like even though he's at Sheffield United now, and I spoke to him yesterday or the day before. I think he tried to change too much too quickly. I think within the dressing room, you got rid of quite a lot of characters within there. And, you know, we would kind of self-police, and then he brought a lot of boys up from England who thought it would be a walk in the park. Because the mentality down there is, Scottish football Sunday League.
Yeah.
And they came up here and it was like, wow, like it's not Sunday League. But once you have that mindset, it's so hard to flip yourself to being a good player again. And Hibs fans are on them, giving them pressure, and they couldn't deal with it.
That's it. You can be as good a coach you want, but in Scotland you need to get your recruitment spot on.
Yeah,
Boys
exactly.
need to be able to play in this sort of league.
Yeah. And he brought a lot of, and I say boys from down in England. I'm from England myself, but they come up and think it's just going to be easy, and bought 5 or 6, and it wasn't.
And the money's well, mate, innit? There's no money in Scotland. Do you know what I mean? So you really need to be
He's on
really.
a few quid, mate.
Yeah.
Like Liv, you get paid cash, mate.
So there you go. Are you gonna apologise now that you've heard that?
Yeah, he's class, honestly.
As a guy, I want to know about personality-wise. Has he got a bit about him?
Yeah, he's got a bit of swagger about him as well. Yeah, I think what he needed, like him and Robbie Stockdale came up together. I think they needed a Neil Lennon with them. They needed that kind of, as like an assistant or a coach, that ruthless guy.
Do you think Neil Lennon would be a good assistant?
Yeah, but I don't think he would want to be an assistant, because obviously he's been a manager. But the way he is would be a fantastic assistant to a Paul Heckingbottom.
And that sort of brought you to the end of your Hibs career. Was it under Heckingbottom you left?
Yeah.
You sad to leave Hibs, man?
Yeah, it was hard.
Good,
It was
big
hard.
club,
Yeah, exactly. And I'd enjoyed my time there, but I felt it was over. Like the cycle of players was kind of changing. Like spoke about the McGinns and the Cummings and these players, they were all gone then as well. So it was almost like I could see where things were going to go. And it's weird because obviously the following season after me leaving, like they had quite a poor season, but you could see it coming. You know, they were going to have big changes in the summer. It wasn't all going to work. And I've been in and around with these boys. We'd won the Scottish Cup. You know, we've been promoted to the Premier League, played in Europe twice. Like, these are all things that I just thought, you know, I'm not gonna achieve anything more than that. And I was playing once every 6 weeks, and I couldn't do it. You know, even under Lennon for a spell, like the same thing was happening. I was playing once every 4, 5, 6 weeks, and you get to that age where you can't do it, and then people start to doubt you.
I always thought, I'm not just saying this because you're here, but I always thought Hibs needed a sort. At that time, Hibs were very much good going forward, but they always get caught in the counter attack. I always thought they needed that Marvin Bartley.
But he wanted
type.
I think Heckingbottom wants to go to a total possession team. He wants to control things. He wants to be like Celtic, see what Celtic are doing, and just go and do that. But no disrespect to Hibs, they can't afford the players to be able to go and do that, and that's what obviously ended up happening then. But for me, it was done. But I was sad to leave, but I was also happy what I achieved at the club.
Unbelievable! What a special time you had at that club. You know what I mean? Brilliant, Simon. And then, what made you end up at Livy?
Was it the fact that you had a bus? You like getting on buses, didn't you? Did you know about this? What was it because Gary Hope used to wear a short sleeve shirt?
And the bus driver. That's what the boys are saying to me, man. The bus driver. So I spoke to Davey. So
Martindale first.
Yeah. So he's head of like all the recruitment and stuff. So I spoke to Davey, and you know, I wanted to stay in Scotland. I didn't want to go back down to England. I wanted to stay up here. I started doing like my coaching courses and whatever else. So I wanted to stay up here doing that. I went and spoke to Davey, and you know, they offered me a 3-year contract.
3 years you got?
Yeah.
At what age?
Wow. 32 I would have been, maybe just turning 33.
Mate, you've won the lottery, haven't you? 3-year deal.
So
That's unheard of, man.
So I was like, right,
no wonder he loves David Martindale. 3-year deal at 32.
They were going to allow me to start coaching and stuff as well. So everything was right for me, and you know, it was another challenge for me as well. It wasn't like I was going to like a team that weren't going to do anything. We were fighting against relegation. That was the plan. So there's going to be a challenge there for me, and you know, everything that Davey was saying fitted in with what I wanted to do.
Not being disrespectful, but that group of players should never be finishing top 6 every year for me.
100%.
So how does it work?
Just shows in football, it's just hard working.
Yeah.
We're just an honest group of players that are so hard working, with a manager who strips things back to the basics, go and do this, gives us an opportunity of winning, and no one wants to play against us. Let's be honest as well.
Yeah.
The AstroTurf pitch is a huge bonus for us. We train on it every day, play on it every other week, so it's an advantage for us. No one wants to come there.
Yeah.
You know, I've been at Hibs coming to there and thinking, this is not what we need, and we play on that because we come there with physical as anything. And people just feel like, get this game out of the way. That's all everyone thinks about playing in Livingston. Get it out of the way.
It's not even that. It's not I was talking about disrespectful because the players are good players, but it's the fact that you lose players every summer as well.
But the recruitment, like Davey does such a great job on recruitment. You know, bringing in players, whether they're young boys like a Lyndon Dykes and selling them on, or people at the other end of their career like I've came in. You know, it's the recruitment.
What do you think Livingston have like the third lowest budget, second lowest budget in the league?
I'll say second lowest.
Yeah.
Second. I'll take half of that. So.
I really genuinely thought when Dykes went they would really struggle.
So did I.
Well, we didn't have a number 9. Like, you look at Scott Robinson's played at times this season. We've not had an out. J. Emmanuel Thomas is there now, but we've not
Mate,
had
Emmanuel Thomas used to be a joke, didn't he? I've said it before.
How good was he?
Is he Bristol Road City? And
Yeah.
He was frightening.
Unplayable.
Does he struggle to move a bit now? No.
He's heavy. He's a lot heavier than he obviously was. So his game's kind of changed. But still his feet and stuff.
Yeah.
You still see he's got it. But he used to be rapid.
Yeah.
Couldn't get near him.
Yeah.
Couldn't get near
Who
him.
else has impressed you at Livingston since you've been there?
John Guthrie.
Very
Very
big centre
good,
half.
Yeah. He
What, he was at Walsall,
noised
wasn't
the
he,
life
Guthrie?
out of me. Yeah. He was shit at Walsall. They got him relegated, man. So when he signed him, their fans were like, why are you signing him? He's terrible.
Yeah.
So I've liked all those tweets, man.
Have you?
Yeah, Guthrie does my nut. No, he's a
that.
great guy, but brilliant centre half.
So what do you mean he does your nothing? Is he always on you?
No. We get on. We just have that kind of
But
battle
I'm saying
with
on
each
the
other.
pitch, is he...
No, he doesn't say anything. He's a
Does he
mouse,
not?
man. No,
Is he?
He's a mouse, yeah.
Right, but he does so well, mate.
So good. Goes on about his business on the football pitch so well. Really good player. Really good guy. Like, and he's a huge part of everything that Livingston do. He's the base of it. Robbie McCrory as well, goalkeeper.
Yeah, for Rangers.
Class.
Is he?
See a future at Rangers, do you think?
Yeah, the best professional that's like a young boy still that I've met. Does everything right.
Oh,
Everything right. Honestly, like he'll get everything out of himself that he possibly can. It won't be if he doesn't play for Rangers as a number 1. It'll be because he's not good enough, not because he's not tried hard enough or not lived the right life. Because that boy is the ultimate professional.
Pittman.
Doesn't talk.
Racehorse still, mate.
Doesn't he talk?
Yeah, he's not spoken to me once since I've been there.
I'll
Say a word.
tell you now,
Is he the fittest guy in the team?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
Not at all, so I
He
just
just-
worry about the guys.
He doesn't stop running.
Aye.
He's one of them. Rather than saying like Sai or whatever, go and mark that guy. He'll run past you to mark him. And he'll be like, Pitts, I could have done that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And he'll just run off again. He's like a little kid, man. just running off. He wouldn't say it to Slaney, to be fair. You'd have been there. Positioning's better,
of
huh?
course, exactly.
You'd
I
get
read,
on
I read the game very well. What about Owen Martindale? When you first met the man, did you think he was going to be
Destined.
he was going to be eventually be the manager of Eddie Livingston?
He used to do a lot, to be fair,
Yeah.
even when Gary Holt was there. So the most difficult thing for Dave probably from going from assistant manager to manager would be dealing with the press. A bit more pressure from the players because when we have a problem, we're going to him with it. If I'm not playing you, you're going to him. But in terms of like the coaching and stuff on the pitch and the recruitment, he's most of that used to be him anyway, or a high percentage of that used to be him. So not a lot's really changed other than he's dealing directly now with the press and the players.
So there's no one like Graham Matthew at Livingston that identifies players.
That's
It's all
Davey.
down to Davey.
Yeah, everything, like literally covers everything.
It's like a young Eddie Howe, isn't he, Davey?
Maintenance man as well, man. Like honestly, if something like the amount of stuff like I've seen him with like a tool belt, amount of times with a tool belt, man. Goes in the gym and that like fixing stuff. He loves it.
Does he?
Honestly, man, he loves
No
it.
way.
I swear to you.
The gaffer?
Yeah. He doesn't care. Like after he's done the coaching and that, he's not the gaffer anymore. Like he'll go and do whatever.
Like that.
Crazy.
mental,
Does
Right.
that change him?
I love that. That's lovely. I love
And
hearing
are you
that.
coaching now as well, man?
Yeah,
So what do you
so
take reserves?
Coaching with the reserves, yeah.
How you find
So
that?
I'm doing. It's good. I enjoy it. Probably from the age of like 25, I've had an idea of what I want to do after. So I've been building up to kind of one day going into that. So no, I love it.
So did you get to say with the first team as well?
No, not in terms of the team when it's picked, but I work with some of the younger boys. On parts of their game, so do that probably twice a week. So for me, that's good. Some one-on-one stuff, or a couple of them with me. So no, it's really, really good, and I love coaching.
Who's influenced you the most? Manager?
Great question. Unbelievable.
I would have to say Eddie.
Eddie Howe.
Yeah. All round, he's but to be fair, I've learned from some of the shit ones as well. Some things not to do.
Yeah.
It's not all about. I think I've learned more lessons from bad managers, knowing that doesn't work. You should never do that. Never treat someone like that. And I think honesty will always be the best policy going into management.
I think a wee tip I would give you is man management.
Yeah.
Dealing with your players. Don't ever let them down. That's what I would say.
And then the League Cup fight, we thought they were going to win it, didn't we? We thought you were destined.
I mean, it was
for
almost the nation wanted it, didn't they?
Yeah.
But
Heartbreaking, man. Honestly, that's why people say about the Scottish Cup this year you can do that, but I've got no more tears, mate.
No.
So it's either we get fucking
Oh, you weren't
beat.
high, you were
I was
emotional,
gone,
weren't you,
mate.
mate?
I was gone. So
Why was that?
I think I just knew that was probably my last chance. Like, let's be honest, Livingston v St Johnstone Cup final will never happen again.
No.
Never will Livingston play a team, that are beneath them in the Premier League, going into a final, being the favourites. All of those things kind of aligned. We just couldn't get the result. And I think at the end, I just realised all those things. And I'm coming towards the end as well. I've got one more year left after this playing.
We were critical on the podcast, I don't know if you've seen it.
Mm.
We obviously like Livingston this season, but the fact that he's changed the way he's played against a team that were lower than you, I thought, why not go and play the way you've played?
Yeah, I think hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I think if we'd have won the game, nobody would have mentioned that.
You'd be a genius.
You lose the game, and obviously it'll be things that the coaching staff will be thinking about.
Just because you were so effective the way you played for 14 games, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But, I think they beat us, didn't they, just before?
Right.
I think maybe that might have played on it, but
Again, who are we to say managers?
Plus, I'm just flying left winger. So.
Exactly, mate. And then top 6, Paul.
Top 6, what an achievement to think, because at one stage I was mentioning the boy Nicholas Devlin, that they were a big chance of getting relegated, Simon. I told him every week, you just keep it around. And to get top 6, what an achievement that is, mate.
Yeah, unbelievable. Like you said, at the start of the season we were struggling, and all the pundits have us in the bottom 2 every year. Tomo,
myself,
bottom 2, but it's one of those things, I think there's probably 6 or 7 teams within this league that are all very, very similar in terms of ability. And it's just about getting it right. And luckily enough, we've worked hard to be at the top of that, 6 or 7 teams. And this is the second season of doing it. But for me, the League Cup just overshadows everything. See, the top 6 means nothing to me.
Really?
Nah, it means nothing to me. People say, it doesn't mean anything. What do I win for being in the top 6?
You're not going to look back and say I finished in the top 6.
Yeah, I finished top 6 twice, 2 years in a row when we shouldn't have done it. No, I don't care about that. The League Cup, was what I cared about. So if any of you two can get me a medal, perfect.
That's very refreshing to hear, actually.
That is good. Winner.
Too many people only forget about the cups and, let's get top 4. Don't really look back at top 4, Simon, do you know what I mean? But my God, my favourite interview I've ever done.
You see that? And you're enjoying him on Sports Scene?
Unbelievable. Could you... Because me and Sports Scene haven't got a good relationship. Certainly no.
What happened?
Just me and Johnny Sutherland had a past in school together. I don't want to get into it, but could you get me on there for a show? Could you work a bit of magic?
Give it a go. To be fair, talking to Sports Scene, so whenever I'm playing, a few players said to me, "You're shit at football now. Go back to your punditry work." Yeah.
I like that for players stuff.
Yeah, but then I'll do the punditry work and I get abused on Twitter saying you're shit at punditry. Go back to football. So I'm like, where the fuck? What am I meant to do, man?
Welcome to Scotland.
What am I meant to do?
No, you're certainly good. I like you on there. You know the game inside out.
What would be your preference after playing media, coaching, management?
Coaching, management. That's what I'm focused on. I'm a student of the game. In football, going into my flats, it sounds a bit fucking weird, but everything's on coaching. Everything. You go into my flat and you be like, who the hell lives here? What madman lives here?
Mannequins not in your flat?
I've not got that far yet, but coaching boards and tactic boards and books, so many books on different things, say man management and, all these things. And I want to give myself the best opportunity of going into management and being successful. When you go into it, you never know what's going to happen, but I'll give myself the best opportunity to do well.
Man, thanks very much, mate. Hero.